Hey everyone, welcome to the Book Titles Workshop replay. Stuart Bell here, co-founder at 90 Minute Books. I'm excited to share this call that we recorded with Dean, running through the 5 framework for book titles that we use here all the time. Your title is the thing that can make a real difference, and what you're really looking to do is help people have that "I want that" response, request a copy of the book, and then ultimately get in conversation with you. So we're going to join Dean for the workshop now. There's a Q&A session at the end. If you've got any questions listening to this replay, by all means, reach out to us at support@90minutebooks, and we'll help in any way we can. And of course, we're very passionate about helping you get your book out there. So when you're ready to get started, head over to 90minutebooks.com, and we've got a whole team waiting to help get your book out there. Okay, with that, let's join Dean in the call.
I like the idea of giving people a book and the price of admission being that you've turned an invisible prospect into a visible prospect. And what I mean by that is when you think about the types of people that you're trying to attract right now, there's 2 types of prospects that you have. You either have what we call visible prospects. So if your target audience, the audience of people that you're trying to serve are, let's say they are chiropractors, it's very easy for you to identify chiropractors because there's a list of them that you can get. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. But if you are a chiropractor, the prospects that you are trying to get in front of are invisible prospects because you can't get a list of people who twisted their back on the golf course yesterday. That's the reality. So the book is a fantastic way to get in front of a group of people who some of them may be ideal prospects for you, but they're invisible right now. The book is a great way to get them to raise their hand. And by doing so, as soon as they ask for it, the book has done its job. It's gotten you in a conversation, and we're not going to let the fact that we're depending on them to read it before we can help them get in the way. We're going to use that they asked for it as a catalyst to start a conversation that can lead to us helping them get whatever result that your book is promising for them. So there's a great way to think about this. Now, the good news is that all we need to do is come up with 10 or 12 words that convey exactly what we want to convey. And I can't put enough emphasis on how important these 10 or 12 words are. And when you do it right, we can start an entire new industry. But if you do it wrong, if we don't get the right 10 or 12 words that convey the right message, no matter what you say after those words, it's not going to matter because nobody's going to see it. We've got to get the title right. And that's why sometimes people obfuscate the information that they have behind a title that is clever or requires some unpacking. If you can't see exactly what the title is and what the content is just with the 10 or 12 words of the title, we need to revisit it. So what I want to do today is I'm going to share some book title formulas that I've developed that will help us kind of get a head start on identifying what the perfect book title might be for you. Then we can brainstorm some of those. We can workshop it, maybe go through, test run some of your ideas, and maybe we can wordsmith them to turn them into really amazing titles. So get a pencil and let's go through. And by the way, we have a field report that goes through everything that we talk about here that I'll have Stuart tell you how to. Is that something they should get now or get after the workshop, Stuart?
Yeah, I will email it to everyone as well, but I'll just put a link in the chat in Zoom if people want to follow along in the moment.
Okay, there we go. So there's something we can download, and we're going to email you a link both to this recording and to the the book title field report. So number one type of title is what I call a name it and claim it title. And what name it and claim it titles do is they say on the cover exactly what somebody wants. So if we see some of the great book titles that you've seen that are like this, the 4-Hour Work Week is a name it and claim it title. I want that. So they're saying, oh, I want that, and they're going to gather the book up. Financial Peace is another one of those name it and claim it titles, that great book by Dave Ramsey. You see those words, financial peace. And if you're someone who's in financial turmoil or stress, you can immediately see that that's something that you want. And if you gather it, hold it to your chest, it might lower your blood pressure. That's what it feels like, that I'm just gonna, if I just get this, I'm going to be closer to the result that I want. So when you say, what do I want? That's really at the core of a name it and claim it title. There's a wonderful series of books that I love. One is called Read This If You Want to Take Great Photographs. And there's another couple of books in the series. One is Read This If You Want to Take Great Photographs of People. And then, of course, the third is Read This If You Want to Take Great Photographs of Places. So those things, 100%, all of those titles that I just said, put exactly the clarity of what you want when you are faced with a situation with either a dilemma or an opportunity, that somebody would say, that's the book for me. We've done this I work with a podiatrist in Milwaukee. We've done a series of books on the, relief things for the reasons that people would call a podiatrist. So we have a book called The Plantar Fasciitis Solution. Oh, I've got plantar fasciitis. I want that. I want that solution. We did a book with my girlfriend, Lupa. We did a book called The Adult Acne Cure. Now, of course, that's what you want. If they say, I need that, that's how we're going to attract them. So I think if you start thinking that way, and as we're going here, one of the best things you could do is just start writing down the ideas that this is stimulating. What you start thinking about what we're actually looking to do here. The next type of title is what I call a just do it title. And this is marching orders. This is what I'm going to do. So I wrote a great book. One of the first book that I wrote that was a big success was a book called Stop Your Divorce. Now, it didn't take us 10 words to convey what we're looking to convey there. Stop Your Divorce says exactly what somebody wants to do, right? So Stop Your Divorce. We, did an ebook there. The whole book was only 100 pages. We sold it for $79, and we sold $5 million worth of that book. All from the title of a book called Stop Your Divorce. If you get emotionally involved in what people want to do, they look at something and say, I need this as the marching orders there. You want to know another book that's a Just Do It title that's been a big success? How about a little book called Think and Grow Rich? Has anybody heard of that? Does that sound like something that people might like to do? Think and grow rich. I could do that. That's something that's amazing, So I've used those kind of titles a lot. I worked with, some of you might be familiar with Marie Forleo. And I started out with her. The first book that she did was a book called Make Every Man Want You. And that went on to build her. She's become an amazing empire. Did a book with Eben Pagan called Double Your Dating that went on to build a dating empire. And these whole things, these are empire building things if you can convey exactly what people want to do. So we've got name it and claim it. We've got just do it. And by the way, the exercise for you is to think through, if you were going to make a name it and claim it title, what would that be? If you were going to make a just do it title, what would that be? And all of these things are going to be interchangeable. This exercise, this thought process is going to help you not only create books, but create great video titles, article titles, email subject lines, all of the things. This word palette that we're creating here is going to have many, many different uses for it. It's just a way to guide your thinking, to convey your message in a useful, helpful, outwardly focused way. So there's the first two. The third is what we call how-to titles. Now, a how-to title is really very useful because the great news about it is that you can't finish the statement how to without promising some kind of a benefit, without pointing to a transformation. How to requires that you're going to get some kind of outcome after having gone through the exercises here, going through exactly what we're talking about. So when you look at it, how could you use a how-to title there? We look at some of the great how-to titles, how to win friends and influence people. Can you think of a more successful book, that you start to think about, and sometimes using a how-to as when we finish out those titles, that could be a great amplifier as a subhead for a name it and claim it or a just do it book title, right? So we had Stop Your Divorce, how to stop your divorce or lover's rejection, even when your situation seems hopeless and you're the only one who wants to stop it. That's crystal clear. It's an amplifier of exactly what you're trying to convey for people there. So that's a wonderful title. The fourth type of title formula is what I call an information gold mine. What is it that would be the information that your ideal prospects are searching for right now? What are they searching for in order to gather the information that they need to make a decision? So sometimes putting things together as directories is a good way to do that. I worked with a company in Canada, a party rental company, and we did a book called 101 Great Places to Have an Outdoor Wedding in Toronto. Now, that, if you're a party rental company, is a great way to identify the invisible prospects of people who are planning an outdoor wedding earlier in the process than you would if you're just trying to compete with all the other party rental companies way down the chain of events that have and decisions that people are going to make in the wedding planning process. You can get up front and find them ahead of time. What is the first thing? Where's the head of the, instead of part of the thing that we look for there in gathering, when people are gathering information in that phase, is I liken it that, let's say there's a river and everybody's kind of floating down the river, and eventually they're going to get to they're having a wedding here. And at the base of the river, where it comes into the ocean, all the people who are involved in trying to help those people or sell those people something are all down at the bottom of the river waiting for everybody to arrive, and they're all competing, trying to get your attention. Oh, choose me for all your party rental stuff. Oh, we've got the biggest selection. We've got the best prices. We've got all of the things that you need. But if you think about offering information at the earliest stage that people are entering the process, it's like going upstream, putting a sign right here and having a little tributary, then instead of letting them go right down the path and be there at the base of the river, you can send them off on a path that diverts them from all the other competition. Because if somebody's going to be planning an outdoor wedding, what the process begins when somebody says, yes, I'll marry you. And the next step that they decide on is when and where. Those are the two first decisions that people are making. So if you can get up here in the process where they're doing that, that's an amazing thing. Market data is a great way to compile these sort of information gold mines, directories. We worked with a company that does branding and packaging and management for hockey players. And we did will be now the 2023 US Hockey Scholarship Directory, which gets in front of the parents who have elite level hockey playing kids with an eye on either making it to the NHL or to, at the worst case scenario, getting a US hockey scholarship. So the directory to them feels like a gold mine. Feels like I'm closer to getting the result that I want, but in many cases, the information on its own is not it's not the solution. When it starts the next problem. When somebody is faced with, we send them the directory of the US Hockey Scholarship programs. It's got the names of the schools, the coaches, the programs. But now the question that people immediately have next is, well, what do I do now? How do I approach these coaches? How do I make my kid stand out over all the other people that are competing for these scholarships? And now they're ready to hear the message about branding and social media and packaging and planning. They're ready to have all those things to get that goal that they thought just getting the directory would be the thing that would solve. So market data is always more compelling than subjective data. You get people who are, we use the example, one of the things that we do on the real estate side is we'll offer people the Longboat Key Beach Condo Price Report, which is a guide, a directory of all of the beach condos on the beach in Longboat Key. And that starts the process, because anybody starting the process of something that's going to gather information is a real opportunity for you to be the provider of that charge neutral market data type of information, rather than trying to convince them to do business with you just from it's not a convincing title. I see Sean Perkins here, Sean is a client that I work with in San Diego, and we're doing a book on the Social Security benefits guide, the 2023 Social Security benefits guide, which we're generating leads for, very affordable leads, extremely affordable leads, gathering people who are 61 to 66 years old, who are now considering transitioning into retirement, which is exactly what Sean can help them do with annuities, with reverse mortgages, with financial planning, all of those things. We're getting in a conversation with invisible prospects who are interested and bookmarking that interest by asking for a guide. So any kind of, what will be the market data that your audience would definitely be searching for? And then the fifth book title formula is what I call "I was just thinking that" titles. Now, I was just thinking that is kind of like posing tapping into the questions that people have when they are entering a new process or going into something. One of the best ones that you can think of like this is a perennial bestseller book called What to Expect When You're Expecting. Have anybody heard of that book? Yeah. And imagine if there's anyone who's been expecting that maybe they've had the book, because it's the immediate thought that you have. You find out you're pregnant, and immediately your first thought is, "Oh boy, what am I in for here? What's happening?" And you want to know kind of step by step along the process. Now, sometimes titles like that you can play along with. We did a 90-minute book with someone called What You Don't Expect When You're Expecting. And these kind of things where you can tap into what people are thinking really goes a long way. When you can tap into that. We did a book with a financial advisor called How Much is Enough? And that's a great question that you start to think, what is the number one question on the minds of your ideal prospects? And how can you kind of go along in parallel with them and help them walk through that process? So here's what I'd love to do is I'd love to, if anybody would love to play along here, then maybe we could talk and brainstorm about your book. So I don't see that we have the hand raising app here. So everybody is muted right now. Is there? Are they allowed to unmute?
Yeah, I've decided everyone to unmute themselves. The hand raising thing is moved underneath the reactions button now.
Okay.
So if you hit reactions on
okay, there you go.
There you go.
Down at the bottom there, if you hit reactions, there's a button for you to raise your hand, and you can jump in, and we'll talk with you. And then I'll randomly call a few people too. But Raj, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Oh, thank you very much. I have started doing Facebook advertising, and finally, after a long time, by changing the market, it is working. Everything I tried before, it didn't work because I was trying to help students do better. But now I've switched to speaking English fluency for people who are working professionals in India, age 35 to 45. These people have been struggling
for it.
Yeah, these people have been struggling for 5, 10 or more years. And because of that, they don't get the respect or income they deserve. They are good professionals, but English is a problem. So the testing I've done with just my picture and a book would be great. So one title that I'm thinking is, read this read this to speak English fluently for working professionals, within brackets. So any idea what's the
title that you're using?
My training? The training is Speak English Fluently in 8 class. 8 training sessions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
if we were to do like a name it and claim it title, just even the 3 words, speak English fluently, that's a great indicator that that's what you're doing, right? That's the person. If they were to say, what do you want? I want to speak English fluently. It's a great thing that you're tapping into exactly what their desire is, And so I would look at going through and thinking, what would be, when you say how to, like you just said, the subhead of that, how to learn English in eight parts or
Days.
8
Wow.
days. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of a big promise, and that's going to get you in front of the people that are going to be the ideal candidates for your program. And so that, I think, is because they're invisible prospects right now, right? The ones who are thinking, I would be able to get so much further ahead if I could speak English fluently. That's really, that's what you're looking to do.
Okay. I'm wondering if I should add in some way that says it is for working professionals.
Yeah.
So
and
that's,
so you
I don't want
amplify.
to attract students.
So you can, and that's perfect. So you can, modify or amplify everything. What I would do is I always like to have the outermost ring of something is, if you're not willing to help or able to help students, what if you had somebody else who that's what they do, and you were able to sell those leads to them?
Oh, great.
And turn your lead generation into a profit center. That's really a thing. Rather than trying to use your book as a filtering process, let's gather everybody that's attracted to the message of speak English fluently, and then realizing you want to work with the professionals and the people who are business professionals. Now you can select those people as best you can by the audience selection in Facebook, right? Saying by the age and the things. And there's always you're gonna have people, sneak through or slip through there. But to have a solution, if you start to think, what are people gonna do if we can't help them, and steer them towards that, you could turn your lead generation into a profit center.
That's wonderful. I didn't think of that.
There you go. I love it.
Thank you.
Well, that's a great example. I'm going to keep moving, but that's a fantastic one. Nice to see you too, Raj.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean.
Yeah. Okay, Bob Mangold.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking the call. So I'm actually in the real estate space. I have a large real estate team in 41 states and 5 countries.
Wow.
And
nice.
I also coach and sell software products. So the title of my book that I'm thinking of is The War on Buyer's Agents, with the subheadline, The 30-Day Home Boss Plan to Build a Listing Focused Business.
I like that. Okay, so say the first part again, the war on buyer agents.
The war on buyer's agents.
Okay. And
so there's all this litigation going through the courts right now that are going to possibly very likely change the way real estate buyer's agents are compensated, if they're compensated at all.
Yeah.
And so what I teach people is to start building a listing focused business, because, well, that's where the money is at. Number one, it always has been. And number two, you better be prepared for this upcoming apocalypse if it happens.
Yes, exactly. And you see that people are really fearful of that. The 2 big lawsuits that they're watching right now. Do you really think that's going to happen though? Or do you think it'll be, the
way that I explain it when I'm speaking or teaching is, it doesn't matter if we win in the courts. If NAR and all these companies win in the courts, we lose in the court of public opinion. And what kind of business do you have when you have tens of thousands of your customers suing you for how you do business? And certainly there's a better way to take and list, sell, and list, market, and sell a property.
Yeah.
And so what Home Boss is that process, how we do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an uphill climb. So my initial approach, and I agree with you 100%. Like I have a whole program called the Listing Agent Lifestyle, and that's building a listing centric approach to real estate, I think, is the future, of course. So I look at it that the thing I'm concerned about with the war on buyer agents is it's sort of it's editorializing in a way, right? It's trying to convince people to have this new thought where I think if you're, and I would experiment with this because the only thing that matters is whether people are going to ask for it, right? Is to experiment with the solution, like the moving forward part of it, right? Like, so I have a book called Getting Listings, which does what it says on the tin, right? How to get all the listings you want in any market you want with, without expensive personal promotion or cold calling. That's a laser specific title, that promises on what the thing that you're really going to, there's enough fear and enough sort of built-in momentum away from the idea that, wow, buyer agents may be, that may not be the way of the future kind of thing, that people are going to be seeking out that safe harbor. And I don't think you need to convince realtors to want to get listings. I think everybody would love that if they knew how. And when you're promising that outcome, that's how I would focus on it. What was the subtitle of your book?
The 30-day home boss plan to building a listing focused business.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, which is getting, I think, closer to what you're looking to do, but you're bringing in, and, when you look at these titles, right, you've got the benefit of knowing what the home boss plan is, right? That's, there's a backstory for that's going to be unpacked later.
Okay.
And it's not the same as the, it's not immediately clear that as a title that just focuses on the outcome,
So my original thought was with the war on buyer's agents was, reacting to fear, and fear is a good motivator and good seller.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You think it could be something as easy as, want listings ? And then the 30-day home boss plan, or do we just do the 30-day home boss plan and use that as the title?
Yeah, like I think that you're bringing in the home boss plan in that, but it doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
It doesn't mean anything to me. This is where, when I look at these and we talk about the idea of bringing something into a book title, it's that the backstory of what the home boss plan is, and that's subjective information kind of thing, Whereas if you take 100%, how would they, with the level of knowledge that they have, know what they want?
Right.
Yeah. And again, all of these things, the good news about these book titles and everything that I'm talking about is that I don't have a horse in the race. I'm like a scientist in this. The only vote that counts is the vote of the audience, And I'll tell you the difference, like, it can be so subtle. I work with a bathroom boutique in Miami, and they've got a 5,000 square foot showroom. We've been working together for a couple of years now. We were doing a bathroom planner, right? So we were doing a free bathroom planner that we were offering on Facebook to all the people within a 25-mile radius of his showroom in Brickell. And we were getting leads for $2.40, low cost, very affordable type of leads. And I, turned, because I've been all the experimenting that I've been doing showed me that objective words are the winners, right? And so we started experimenting, and we created, instead of the bathroom planner, we did the 2023 bathroom vanity catalog. And the leads went down to $1.30. Same audience, same ad, same exact, look of the thing. The only thing that changed was the title of what we were offering, and the lead cost went down. So I look at that as the ultimate kind of, the vote, the voters in this. If you're using it to attract new people, you'll know, and you can experiment with what the title's in. But that would be my suggestion, is to get as close as you can to objective and crystal clear information that people know the whole story without having to know the backstory. And then you can introduce the listing boss or the home boss idea to it.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for participating. Angie, how are you?
Hey there, Dean. Long time no see.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
What's
I've
the
got
word?
a manuscript that I've had sent out to beta readers. I'm feeling really good about it. It's called Permission to Kick Ass, which is the same as my podcast. It is a yeah, every time I say the title, people get it. And so that's why I
Yeah,
was
it's
like, I need a
great.
good subhead that tells people what Permission to Kick Ass is all about. So
Right.
I'm a business coach these days. I've moved out of copy and marketing. I work with creative service providers and people that don't traditionally think of themselves as business people and don't
Mm-hmm.
realize that business is a skill
Mm-hmm.
and that you can learn this skill if you apply yourself. So that's what Permission to Kick Ass is. It's basically a book of everything I wish I had known about business when I first got started as a
Mm-hmm.
creative service provider.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that's enough detail to go on or if you need more, but
Well, those words, I mean, that's kind of those are pretty good words, what you just said there, everything I wish I knew about uh, whatever. How did you finish that statement?
oh God, you have to ask me to remember what I said.
Well, the good news is it's recorded. We may have created magic in the recording here for you. But often when I do things like this and I get people to explain what they're talking about, they say it in the most natural words, and it just seems like that's what you should say. It's
Love
like
that.
such a, I look at that Permission to Kick Ass as kind of a, it's one of those, the subtle art of not giving a fuck, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, that there's something like about that. We're like, oh, Permission to
Mhm.
Kick Ass. It's kind of a great thing. So I think that's a fantastic way. So I would definitely spend the time to go through the formulas here and
Mhm.
do the word palette. Like I'm looking, and I don't expect anybody on this call to just off the top of your head, now that you know the formula, oh, there's the title, that it rolls off the top of your head. In breakthrough advertising is one of my favorite things that Eugene Schwartz talks about, the headline, the 10 or 12 words that after all of the research and all of the time that you invest in the hours of uh, getting and honing your message down to these 10 or 12 words, that it seems so anticlimactic that that's the output of all of this effort and thinking. But it really is that pivotal point of it, right? It's either you get it or you don't. And so I think that when you look at who is your audience that you're trying to attract ultimately, you want to kind of look at all the different possibilities, all the different things that might stand out for them. And I think that it's a great, when you say you've got, how are you approaching them? Like, how are you getting the message in front of them is really going to, be a good determiner of the right approach, kind of thing.
Right now, it's mainly through my podcast, which I haven't been the greatest at promoting, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to enter into a push that I'm calling 40 by 40, which
Mm-hmm.
is I want to get on 40 stages by the time I turn 40 and really tell people about the book and that it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we're at
So
the
I
beginning
think
of that window. It's about to be a big push.
okay, there you go. And part of the thing that what I would recommend in any of these kind of situations, if this is your idea that you'd like to ultimately do a bigger a big book, capital B book for the things that, one of the best things to do is to start where you are, right? Start with version 1. You probably got the philosophy and the framework for your idea of what's involved in permission to kick ass. That's kind of the outline of it. That is, especially for a warm audience like the people who know you, your podcast audience, or people who see you speak, it's a great way to start the journey and let people come along on that journey with you. So you might start out with just a small book that has that title. And the good news about these, doing a small book to start the process is you get to gauge people's reaction to it, right?
Hmm.
And the fact that I mentioned the big things that you need are, you got to have a book, got to have a title that they say immediately, that's the book for me, and a way for them to get it. Well, when people are making that decision, what doesn't go into the decision is how long it took you to write it. They don't care about that, or they don't care or know how many pages it is, whether it's 50 pages or 250 pages. They're going to make their decision based on the fact that you've got a book and it's got a title that they want. And they don't care how cleverly you crafted the third paragraph of chapter 4. That as much as you slaved over it, nobody cares about that right now. So I think that if you can get that out there, get that and gather that audience, and then write the book by, if you're going to expand on the book, use the follow-up communications to kind of expand on it in your podcast, in your follow-up emails, and telling the stories of people who have taken their permission to kick ass and gone ahead and kicked ass. So that makes your book a living thing after the course of a year,
I like that. That gives me an idea for another show. Don't give me another show, Dean.
That exactly. There you go. Exactly. Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So good to hear you. Moose Man. Not often you get to meet a man called Moose Man. How are you, Greg?
Excellent. Having a great day.
Good.
Well,
What have you got?
I'm really enjoying the information. My market is very old school. There's not anybody in it really training people, marketing, sales, promotions,
Greg, your mic is very, we're having a hard time with your audio there. There's something.
Oh, okay. Why don't I sign off and put my headset on? Can you hear me now?
Okay, you sound very muffled here. Yeah. So you want to try?
Yeah, my cooling fan must be on.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I'll sign off and open this.
Okay, perfect. So we'll come back if you can. Sharon. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hi.
I'm just unmuting myself.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, so Dean, I'm a big fan, but I have a book written for downsizing seniors in the real estate realm.
Yeah.
So this is called Downsizing Done Right.
Okay.
And it is the subtitle is Your Roadmap to the Retirement You Want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering about maybe some tweaking. Each one of these is a chapter of a seminar that stands alone, and then the workbooks combined make this book that and I haven't really done a great job marketing it as a standalone. I just want to do that as the next pillar kind of thing.
Who's your audience here? What's ultimately how you're trying to attract here?
So I think I have an audience, a couple of different audiences actually. Like there are people who are contemplating it for the future, and then there are people who are in the middle of it. So those obviously have different needs, different timelines. So I would say the majority of my clients have a fairly long sales cycle because there's no real compelling reason for them to downsize. They're just kind of planning for the future.
Yeah.
And until they've identified what that trigger is,
Yes.
they're going to stay in their homes because it's convenient and familiar and it seems cost effective.
Yes, exactly. And so that you've got a great body of work there. And so what my inclination would be is to create a lead book called Downsizing Done Right, which is that's a good title. It's got everything that you need. People are going to know what that's about right there. Then having all of that other content that you have packaged in a way that you can continue to distribute it to people over the next 2 or 3 years if they're in that long of a cycle, which is probably exactly what they're doing. They're going to be a much longer cycle than first-time buyers, for instance, right? There's no probably need for someone to wait 3 years before they buy their first house. But the downsizing, the main thing that you are doing when people ask for a book called Downsizing is they're raising their hand and saying they're bookmarking their future intention of we're going to downsize. So now you've turned an invisible prospect into a visible prospect. They see you as the author, of this initial like a guidebook, almost like something that's easy to consume. And then you've got all of that content that you could parse out over, 6 bi-monthly newsletters or through a monthly or weekly or bi-weekly email with inviting people to different specific topic webinars or, highlighting people's journeys through downsizing done right. I worked with a big mortgage company, and we did a whole series called Retiring Right, which is a similar thing. So you can almost create some downsizing done right show where you're, answering people's questions, you're helping them prepare, you're showing the avoidable surprises that can happen when you're downsizing, or all of that stuff to prepare people once they're in that bubble for a couple of years. They're bonding with you and they get to know who you are,
Can I just also, a very interesting side note is that I have one of the chapters is called the Decluttering Battle Plan.
Yes.
And it is also a standalone thing that I don't know how, but has gone viral. I posted one video on Facebook Reels and I suddenly have 185,000 people who have seen this.
So great.
And 14,000 new followers in the last 10 days.
Right.
I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't know how to cash in on it.
Well, it's kind of like
very mercenary.
I mentioned to Raj that there's a whole world of that. One of the integral parts of downsizing is how do we downsize 40 years of stuff that we've had in our family home there, 20, 30, 40 years of gathering stuff. We just had a flood at my house where my water heater burst. And so we went through kind of a forced purge. But I tell you, on the other side of it, it feels amazing, right? You feel liberated from so much stuff. We got rid of so much stuff. So one of the things that you might do is partner with companies that do decluttering, like as professionally, having that as a option for people. You have an opportunity to put yourself in the position of the mayor of downsizing town. And all of the things, all of the people in the community that are going to be involved in that process, what are they doing before they get to you, and because they've gotten to you, and after they've gotten to you, or instead of you, what are they doing? Maybe they want to stay in their house and get a reverse mortgage, or maybe they want to keep the house and stay in it, or have somebody come in and care for them in home. So you start to look at it that you got to be okay with downsizing per se not being the final destination if it fits, but to be able to help people and direct them to the community of people that can help, because there's so much involved in the downsizing of stuff.
Right. Oh, I completely get it. It's the thing, like the subtitle of that chapter is how clutter is our enemy and keeps us in homes that no longer serve our best lifestyle and health goals.
Probably
right?
the biggest delay too. It's probably the biggest delay in people getting the house on the market, because they're faced with this black hole of, I've got to get the house ready. We can't possibly sell. There's so much stuff to go through and to organize.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's the number one enemy that keeps them there. So,
but I think the summary would be, I think the small book as the starter thing that people can download. If they're willing to engage in a dialogue, you can send them a physical copy of the book, but you're wanting to get under your bubble there, or under your umbrella, as many people as you can who've raised their hand indicate that they're on this downsizing journey, and then be committed to that for the long term. When you look at, that's not going anywhere. That's a good horse to hitch your wagon to for the next 20 years, right?
Is there anything to be done with the people who have raised their hand and requested to be part of the 30-day decluttering challenge? That's this is what this video was about. It was called the 30-day decluttering challenge.
I think it's perfect. Why not formalize it and have people who, all the way through to, I work with a company in South Carolina that does, they have dumpsters where they can, you can bring a dumpster to your house kind of thing. And we talked about creating this program where people get to sit in a throne, make up a little throne thing with a cape on and a wand, and they set up a table in front of them, and you just point at the pile that we're going to declutter, and people come, they take the stuff, they put it on the thing, and you just make the decision of, are we keeping this? Are we throwing this out? Are we donating this? And you don't have to lift a finger, but it's magically decluttered, because the thing that stops people from doing the decluttering is having to do all the lifting or do the stuff themselves, and getting caught up in playing with the things that they find. Oh, remember this? And then they start doing, oh, I wonder about this, and they never get done. So to keep it moving and to keep it in a 2-hour block kind of thing is helping people with the actual outcome is going to be a big thing,
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm excited for you. This is it's a big thing. Herman the German. I love it. We got a moose man. We got Herman the German. This is great.
Hey, Dean, I will keep myself short because I don't want to take up the time from the other guys, as we are anyway doing the lead generation workshop. So me and Sasha had like an idea why you have been like talking, and we just got excited and wanted to ask. And another short question. So so everybody, to fill them in, like I'm in the dating industry and I help basically men to get the girl that they want. And we have like the sleep magnet where I teach guys like how to start a conversation with a woman. And we yesterday discussed with Dean, like to have a title like something like say this to her, not that. And we just got the title. We thought about getting rejected is optional. Like, what would be your opinion? Like, which ones should you think we should pursue?
Well, I like a moving towards thing, like getting rejected is optional. I would think I want to keep them focused on the prize kind of thing, you know, that the best way to not think about, you know, it's almost like when you're driving, you know, on race courses, they tell you if you're going towards a wall or something, you don't look where you don't want to go, look where you do want to go and steer towards that, right? So you're on to it with the say this, not that, is kind of implies that this is what to say so that you don't get rejected. It's like showing them how to turn, you know, because there's probably just a handful of things that, you know, contextually people say that cause them to be rejected, you know? Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And then just really quickly, so maybe like let's hope that's helpful for everybody as well. We thought about like not to necessarily like launch like something compelling to get the people engaged, but also to launch a book actually to create and claim a new category. Because like since what I do, like we call it like efficient dating systems made in Germany. So we actually thought about like to create a book and just name it efficient dating systems made in Germany and have a subheadline like what does it do, and in this book to explain like, you know, the old ways of doing it and how my way is different. So just explaining the concept of not necessarily to start the conversation, just to so that we can say we are the first in the category.
I like that. I think that those kind of things, and it was like whoever, I forget the name, sorry, of our real estate friend that had the book about the home boss, that it's that same kind of thing, that it's that kind of information is great to present to people after they've raised their hand. You start with what they want, which is say this, not that. Seems like a really actionable thing, a field guide for what to say to not get rejected is a great thing. Now, once somebody's raised their hand, now you've got all the time in the world to tell them about these efficient dating systems made in Germany. That's, I think, we're not leading with your subjective information. We're leading with the objective information, the completely outwardly focused, help me with my, you know, what I want, and then present your approach to it, because now I'm going to like you because you helped me with this thing. I want to dig in a little bit deeper with you, you know?
All right. Thanks very much, Dean.
You're very welcome. Moose Man, let's try again here.
Hello, is this
so much
working?
better. So much better. Okay.
Well, it's good to be here. What a lot of information. Thank you very much. I'm seeing quite a bit of stuff that makes a lot of sense.
Good.
Looking at working in the hunting business owners, those are the ones that own the hunting lodges. They own the outfitting businesses. They are the hunting guides. And I was proposing to get into the information on how to train them and show them systems on how to market, sell, promote, and advertise their hunting adventures. And I thought that the people in the industry don't understand a lot of the stuff that we've talked about today. And I mean by stuff, direct marketing, wordsmithing, copywriting, those type of things. So there's a lot of changing of beliefs or mindset or the view from a different angle. So that's been a real thought process for me. How do you explain to people that getting your name out there is just a time suck, a waste of energy, money, versus obtaining prospective customers that are targeted and that will move to be 5-star prospects. So that's, so I thought a book would be good along those lines. I think I can get a list of pretty much the visible hunting lodges.
Yeah, of course, those are visible prospects for sure. And you know, part of the thing you said on the when you start describing what you did, I think one of the great things is if you just start with the name it and claim it, what do they really want? They want to get bookings, right? And that's really the outcome. If you were to nail it down, that may be the thing. That's from my perspective on it. That may be the title of getting bookings. And what you said was how to advertise, promote, and
market and sell. I broke it into 4 chunks. If you will.
Yeah. And as your subhead for the book, but I think that's I think focusing on what they do want at the core, is a big thing.
Okay, so book your hunting adventures, how to promote, advertise, market, and sell your hunts.
Yeah.
So okay, then that would allow. Now, will that work for both the invisible and the visible ones?
Well, you look at, so part of the thing is you have visible prospects in that you can get a list. Your ideal client is someone who's already got a lodge that they're operating right now, and they've got excess capacity, right? They've got room to get more people and desire to get more bookings. That's what they really want, right? So you can go directly to them. That's a fantastic thing. But any individual hunting lodge has invisible prospects. You can't get a list of people who have always wanted to do a hog hunt and they're curious about that as a thing. That's why doing, what you're able to show them is how to put together the objective data of the hunting adventure catalog or calendar is a great great way to get people to raise their hand and think and look at options that they have, right? So in any market, there's usually 2 sides to it, right? You've got the invisible prospects of the people, like for chiropractors who have back pain, or for podiatrists who have foot pain, or for hunting lodges who want to go and hunt. And then you've got the visible prospects, which are the chiropractors, the podiatrists, and the hunting lodges that are there. So you've got both there.
Now, I'm not interested in selling to the hunters. I've already have that in process.
But you want to show the hunting lodges how to sell to the hunters. That's so you've figured that out for your lodge, and what you're giving people is this roadmap, this already figured out way of going of moving forward there, so that's the outcome that you can focus on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, should that resonate, in the title? It would, how to, because there also is, you really need to win friends to book your hunting lodge. You have to turn strangers into friends.
That's
so exactly I have
right.
like a large volume of different components that would work well for titles. So am I better off just try and get right to the fundamental in the title, how to
you don't want to bury the lead, as we say. You don't want to bury the lead. You want to be you want to get right to what's the best outcome. What's the thing that they want with this book? So why would somebody, there's a difference between somebody buying a book called Stop Your Divorce, where there's a crystal clear outcome and who that book is for, And knowing that, because it's very different than a book on how to improve your relationship. Right. That's that same, it's a different, whole different vibe, you know?
Okay, so book your hunts is really,
Yes.
how to, there is sites on the web,
Yes.
Hunt Booker and Fish Booker and things
Yes.
like that.
Mhm.
And they're very, so people are working with them and they're having a lot of pain.
Mhm.
So the pain of knowing who your guest is before they arrive is one of the big
Right.
problems.
Yeah.
And they don't know, there's nobody saying, well, this week we're going to promote one specific area. So
Yeah.
they don't, end up on the high end of the promotional end with these online activities.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So stay with the lead being book your hunts, how
That's what they
to
want.
promote, advertise, market, and sell
Yeah.
your hunting adventures.
That's exactly right.
Very simple
Yeah.
model.
Awesome.
Super.
Always good to
Thank
see
you.
you, Greg.
Yes. Thanks.
Janet.
Hi, Dean.
There we go.
This has
Hi.
been great. Yeah. First of all, in the interest of time, how long is this workshop? Do we still have time?
Yeah, of course. It's 12:15 right now. I booked till
Okay.
12:30 for us. We can go. So we got time.
Two things. I'm wondering if you could, before we end, if you could briefly review the thing that you called the word palette.
Okay.
And then also contact information for you, if you could put that.
Yes.
Just looked you up in LinkedIn and there's a million Dean Jacksons. So
Perfect. Okay.
yeah.
So let's start with the word palette and see.
And then I do have a question for you about it.
Yeah. So part of the thing, the way that you want to think about this is to just book off some time and think about how can you get inside the mind of your ideal prospect, right? What are the things that they're thinking about? What are the phrases, if you were to say, and going through the book title formulas as a guideline for you here, if you were to say, if we're going to create a name it and claim it title, if I asked you, what do your clients want? What does your ideal client want? What would that be if they could just wave a magic wand and say, I want this? What would it be? I want a 4-hour work week. I want financial peace. I want to get listings. I want, when you start thinking, just thinking through your prospect's mind, what is it that I want? And then for the just do it, what do I want to do? What would be the action if you could give them some action that's going to come out of this? What can you show them how to do? How to, all of the things that you can show them how to do. What information would they be looking for that would be helpful in their gathering the information for what they're doing? And what are the questions that are already on their mind, right? I mentioned we did a book with a financial advisor called How Much is Enough? And it was out of this thought process of what kind of questions are people asking you? How would you sum up what people are wondering? Like you would see people, no matter how much money they had, it always felt like they needed a little bit more for them to be confident, right? But the real big question for them is, well, how much is enough? And those were really good words. And then out of that, we created a postcard that we used that had a headline of 3 avoidable surprises that derail even the most cautious retirement plans. And every word of that was parsed out through thinking through the word palette of, rather than saying the 3 biggest mistakes people make, which is often what the initial inclination is, we look at the words and we look for what are the emotional words that we could replace those with that would have a better state of mind for us, right? So surprises is a more palatable word than mistakes, because mistakes are like a blame word. It makes you fallible, right? But a surprise could happen to anybody, right? So you can be curious about what a surprise is without having to admit that you're fallible, right? Anybody could get faced with surprise, but the responsibility word of avoidable, 3 avoidable surprises, is driving curiosity for people to think, I wonder what these are and if I'm prepared for them, right? And derail as the perfect emotional foil word for being on track to retire at 65, or we're on track to retire here, and nobody wants to get derailed from that. And cautious as opposed to conservative. Cautious is something that's prudent, and everybody should be cautious. Conservative is a label word, right? It's been weaponized in a lot of ways. So all of this thought of really just thinking, the real intention of the word palette is to use the words and the phrases and questions and information that people who your ideal audience, what's going on in their mind, almost like a painter. This is why I call it a word palette. Is if we were going to paint that painting in the back of your room there, that beautiful blue and purple and green in there, that before they created that painting, they would put a palette together and say, I want to get these bright blues, I want to get the greens. They'd start getting the colors that they're going to draw from to create the tone and the image and impression that they want to create with that painting, right? And it's the same thing when we're looking that our art is the cover of the book, the words that are going to appeal to our target audience, and the paints that we're going to use are the words that will convey those messages. That's how we want to think about the word palette.
Okay, interesting. I've written 2 books already, and I've gotten a lot of help from Sam Horn. I don't know if you know who Sam Horn is. Her book on how to create the perfect title pitch for anything. But I'm in the dental industry, and my target audience is DSOs, dental support organizations. So these growing groups, and what I'm putting together is a program of fractional coaching. And so the problem is that a lot of these organizations don't know that they need what I have. So even this example you just gave, I might be able to massage that to customize it to what I'm trying to create.
Yes, I love that. So I think that's a great start for you. I'm going to show you a couple of resources here.
Right, including a resource for you. Like, do you have a newsletter or anything?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, anything that I do is at deanjackson.com. It'd be a great place to start. You can kind of get into my world there. But I'm going to share with you some specific resources here for helping you through this book process. So I'm going to share my screen and show you, and we'll put a link, Stuart can put a link in 90minutebooks.com. I've got a whole team of people standing by to help people write their books, how to get your book out into the world. So we have a book called The 90-Minute Book, and you can get that at 90minutebooks.com. And there's a really great resource that we have here in the gallery that will give you an idea of some great book titles, that maybe there's some formulas there that can help you, right? The Florida Man's Guide to Getting Divorced. That's a crystal clear title. My Damn Toes Hurt. Dr. Paul Ross, your guide to doing for the podiatrist there. profitable fleet management, you're licensed, now what? All of these are 90-minute books that we've helped people put together, and they'll be a good example for you of some inspiration for you on how book titles can work for you. We've got the whole team in place where we can go through the whole process, where we can get a book created for you with just 90 minutes of your time. So we start with a 30-minute phone call. We do a brainstorm. We'll come up with the title and the outline for your book. Then we do an interview of you as if you're a guest on a radio show where everybody listening is your ideal audience. And then your part of it is really done. We take over from there. We get the audio transcribed. We turn the transcript into the content for your book. Our design team will create a cover for you. We create the action steps for people for what to do next in this. We take your content, we lay it all out. Your book comes out at the end, and we create a lead gen website for your book so that people can go to your website and ask for your book. And there's the whole process. We take care of everything for you. We've been doing this for over 10 years. We've helped a lot of people get their books out into the world. And our model, if you want to get started, we've got 3 options for you. Where our signature book is the 90-minute book version, just like the 90-minute book that we showed there, where this is the simplest, easy way to get the book started. You can get that for $2,000. For $3,000, we have our Plus program where we expand the content a little bit. It's a little bit bigger. We do 90 minutes of recording with you. We've got some internal images and things that we put inside the book there, and then we turn it into a narrative format as opposed to the interview format that we use. And then with the pro version, we get email mastery included along with individual one-on-one support to get your book out into the world. So we've got all of those available for you right now as ways that we can help you. And as I said, my whole team is standing by to get the process going with you.
I actually have a friend who's used your company, the 90-minute book. How do you handle more books? I mean, like, is it print on demand? If I wanted 100 copies of my book to send to a hotel where I was going to be speaking, how does that work?
So we use, we're associated with the Amazon program, their printing program. So the books, you get, 1 copy or any of them, and they're whatever the cost is. I think, do you know the latest, the most up-to-date costs for the books, Stuart?
Yeah, still around $250. Depends on size and format, but $250 is a good way.
$2.50 per book is what they cost to print. So you get 100 copies for $250, and
that's a great price.
Yeah, get them shipped anywhere that you want.
And we actually make sure that it's in your account as well. So we don't want to own any of this. All the rights belong to you. The ownership belongs to you. So we'll put it in, if you want to, we'll put it in your Amazon account so you own it. So any royalties come back to you, any direct reorders, you're just paying exactly what Amazon charges for reorders. If you don't want it on Amazon, we can take care of printing in the background, and if you don't want it publicly listed. So the main thing is it all belongs to you. We're not trying to be the middleman in any of this IP.
Great.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So that's what we've got for you. I think, there's so much opportunity for you to gather exactly the audience that you want by having a book that calls out exactly the mindset of the people that you that you want. And by the way, you can have several different books that attract all the different segments of a market that you want to attract as well, because we're not putting all our eggs in one big book that you've taken years to write. We're creating something with the express lane right into a relationship with you, because that's really what it's all about. More
Is there an
than
option to do an ebook as well?
we do it as an ebook format, so that's exactly what we do. We get both the
Okay.
ebook format and the printable version.
And how long is the process from like when you make the phone call to typically?
So I'll let Stuart answer that, because it's really the thing that I will say this: the thing that drives it is your being prepared and being ready to go, because there's certain benchmarks along the way that have to happen, right? Like it has to get to a point where you've decided what the title is, you've decided what the what the outline is going to be, and then from the moment we record your actual content, then it goes through the process of getting edited, getting your approval on the editing, any updates, because all along the way you have the freedom to kind of add to it or to update it. So a good benchmark that we look for is the complete process is 8 to 10 weeks to have the whole thing. You could have the ebook version in a shorter period of time. It can be faster.
And do you help with the title?
Well, yes, that's all part of the process, is helping to brainstorm and go through the process of creating the right the title and the outline. So I think that is a I think we've had a successful book title workshop here. I think we've had a great participation. I appreciate everybody who's willing to play the game and to share and look into what we could do about your titles. And I really look forward to being able to work with you to get your book out into the world. The first person you'll be talking with would be Betsy Vaughn, right up here in the corner. And as we said, we've been doing this for over 10 years now. This is our 10th year.
10th year. You guys fast.
10 years of doing this. So it's amazing. I hope to make you guys one of our next success stories. So any final questions before we wrap up? Any burning questions or anything that needs some clarity for you? Okay. Well, guys, perfect timing. We had a great workshop. I appreciate all of you coming through. And to just go to 90minutebooks.com and let's get the process started. If you want to send me an email, you can email me dean@deanjackson.com. And Stuart has put his email in there if you want to save the chat as you leave here. If you click the 3 dots down at the bottom of the chat and press save chat, that will give you the transcript of all of the resources and everything that we shared during the call. So that's it. I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to our 90-minute book outlining call for November. I wanted to kind of get together with you guys and share some ideas on how to really create and craft the best outline for your book. I look at it that the two critical things that kind of, if I can help you get over this hump here, if I can get you to the point where you've got the title of your book, because the reality is that the title is 80% or more of the success of your book. We talked, and we'll have links for the audio of the book titling call that we did. And you may have been on that call with me, and we talked about the different types of titles, whether it's a name it and claim it title like Financial Peace, or like the something that they look at it and know, I want this, and they take that because they're raising their hand, or whether it's a declaration book like Stop Your Divorce, or it's a book that's going to indicate that they're moving in a direction where it's Double Your Dating, or Catch Him and Keep Him. All of those things that are really indicative that somebody's moving in a direction, or the how-to books, right? How to fill in the blank. And I love how-to as a great title starter, because you can't really fill in the blanks without promising some kind of a benefit or a result, right? How to do something, whatever that is, and you can combine that with a name it and claim it title, or a just do it title. And it's very powerful because you let people off know exactly what they're in for as soon as they see the title of the book. And when you look at that, some books are so powerful. I saw Vern Harnish, my friend, who's wrote the Rockefeller Habits and Scaling Up. I just saw him recently in Phoenix, and he was talking to some books you don't even have to read to get the benefit, like Never Eat Lunch Alone is a great title of a book that he said, just buy it and put it on your desk. You don't even have to read it, and it gives you the message there, right? So when you look at it, being able to tap into what your audience is really hungry for, what's the thing that would make them a great potential partner, client, collaborator with you to get a result? What would be the title of the book that gets them into a conversation with you? I saw a great book title that was something like you will be able to draw by the end of this book. And it had the example on the title. It showed that this is going to have a big promise that by the time you read this book, you're going to know how to draw. And I thought that's pretty interesting. And so when you think about those things, there's nothing more important than your title. So if you get that title right, the next thing that we need to understand is what's the next step, because that's going to determine what we do in the actual book and how we create our outline. So if you're presenting a big idea, you're presenting something to somebody, that the outline is really about what are the steps that are going to set up people to be ready to take advantage of your next steps, which make up the back cover of the book. So if we think about the three main components here, you've got the title, which is the cover, which is 80% of why somebody's going to ask for a book. We've got the next steps, which is the back cover of the book. Here's what to do now. And then the middle, the actual contents of the book, are about bridging the gap, whatever they need to know, whatever we need to say, whatever we need to inform them about to make them receptive to the offer that we make them at the end of the book. So, we think about it as this little journey. And, when we're doing the books with people, the way that we frame it and the way that we present the interview that we do with you to create the content that becomes the interior of your book is to imagine that the interview that we're doing with you, the 1 hour that we're spending, is your opportunity to be a guest on a radio show, and everybody listening is your ideal client. Everybody listening is the type of person that you would like to do business with. What could you say? What message could you convey in that 1 hour that would prepare their minds, make fertile soil for the offer that you're going to make at the end of the presentation? Like you're saying, here's what to do next, right? So we need to think that through. And so let me give you a couple of examples. Like, one of the easiest examples for me to use is the 90-minute book example, because if you've downloaded your copy of the 90-minute book, there's the thing that this is our opportunity to introduce you to the concept of the 90-minute book, right? Can you write a book in 90 minutes? And you probably said, well, how do we do that? Or is that possible? But it was curious enough that you chose to download the book. Now, we talked about the power of the titles on this, because when you downloaded the book, you didn't know or care whether it was 50 pages or 250 pages, right? That wasn't a decision criteria for you. You saw the title and you wanted the book because you were thinking on some level about writing a book, or you've been trying to write a book, or you've been in that mindset that you think that a book would be a powerful tool. Or maybe you were thinking the way I use books and the way Frank Kern uses books, that you've seen us all over Facebook with my email mastery book, or the 90-minute book, or Frank's how to get high-paying consulting clients, even if nobody knows who you are. Those are very successful examples of using 90-minute books, using short, example books to just generate leads to start a conversation. So if I look at it that the 90-minute book was the thing that gets people to engage in a dialogue, for whatever reason, they're already curious about writing a book themselves, or they're curious about, could I, and the way that we're talking about it here, could I use a book to generate leads for my business the same way that Dean is doing this here, or the same way that Frank Kern is doing this, or the same way that you see lots of people. I mean, we've helped hundreds of people write books like this as lead generators, from things like, business getting things, all the way to, we have a gentleman who wrote a book called What's That Crow Saying?, which is one of the greatest titles ever, but he does nature skills for people who want to learn how to interpret bird sounds and understand what the birds are saying or what they're trying to communicate. And so he's got that he advertises the book on Facebook, on AdWords, on YouTube. People download the book. He's able to engage in a dialogue with them and enroll them in his nature skills program. So even in the most obscure niches, these types of books work, but there's a method to the way that we do this. So let's look at the 90-minute book as the example. So the 90-minute book, the title and the fact that it's a book and it's available to download, that's enough to get you to want to download it. Now, I mentioned beginning with the end in mind. The next thing that I focus on is, what do we want people to do after they've read the book? Right? It would only be so powerful if I offered people a 90-minute book about how to write a 90-minute book and then didn't offer the chance to help them write a 90-minute book. So the back cover, the offer that we have is, here's how to get your first book outlined, written, and published in just 90 minutes. So this whole closing statement is just preparing people to take that next step. So we show exactly what happens. You already know what your book is going to be about. You've spent years thinking about it and developing your specialized knowledge. The time-consuming part is to get what's in your head out on paper where it can start spreading your idea. That's where we come in. We help people just like you get your first book outlined, written, and published as a paperback in as little as 90 minutes. Step one, we spend 30 minutes outlining and developing your chapters, titles, headlines, and the questions that your book will answer to fully express your idea. Step two, we record a 60-minute podcast-style audio interview where you get to talk about your ideas in a comfortable format where we can draw out your best thinking and fully address your topic. Step three, we take it from here and get a transcript of your interview, create a killer cover and format for your book, set it up on Amazon's Create Space platform, and get the first copy of your book in your hands. Most people think it takes months of hard work and hours of writing in solitude to create a book. Now you can get your book outlined, written, and out in the world in as little as 90 minutes. If you'd like us to help, just send an email to 90minutebook@gmail.com, and we'll take it from there. So that is the action that we want people to take. So we start with they're curious about the 90-minute book. We end with what we want people to do. Now, the content of the book has to fulfill on presenting this idea to people in an organized way that lets them know that this would be a good idea, answers their questions, and kind of goes through the thought process that leads to the idea that, hey, writing a 90-minute book like this would be a good idea. This would be an easy way for me to get my book out there. So let's look at the outline page, the table of contents. We start with here's what's inside. So you imagine that what we're going to do now to organize your thinking, organize what has to kind of go on in the mind, what's the journey from where somebody is, which is they've been thinking about a book, they've got this preconceived idea that they need to lock themselves away in a writer's cabin for months and of solitude and torture themselves to actually write the book and get it out there, and they've got to have a publisher and all these things, this big block that we're looking at this book as a monster thing. And we start the journey with that and then get people to the point of all of the thought process that leads them to the idea that this would be a good idea. So if I just look at this is how we brainstorm the outline. So our insides start out with an introduction and then explain what the 90-minute book is. But then we start answering the questions. Why don't more people write books? That's a question that more people don't write books because they think it's hard work. Then we immediately follow that up with, don't focus on being a writer, focus on being an author. See, the thing is that the writing is the actual, just the logistics of it. Authorship is about the idea. You can be the author of the idea, and the fastest, highest bandwidth way to get your ideas from your brain into a digital format is through your mouth. It's the highest, fastest baud rate that we have that is much faster than writing. It's much faster than typing. It's much more comfortable. Everybody's used to it. We do it every day. And if you have an organized track to run on, it makes the downloading of information from your brain into a digital format something that we can shape and we can edit and put into, we essentially end up with an audio version of your book and a digital version of the transcript of your book that we start out with as version 1. That's the fastest thing. When we get to the point where we've got all of your ideas together, we've got all of it organized and outlined in an organized format here, and put it in the physical form of a book, it's your authorship, meaning your idea expressed in a way that can be packaged and communicated instead of just roaming around unformed in your brain as a potential book, right? It's far more valuable to get version 1 of your book out into the world, and then you can take your time to create the bigger version of the book if you really still want to do that. But I think what you're going to find is that once you realize that the 90-minute book does the job of work of the lead generation portion as good or better than a longer, bigger, more intense time commitment type of book. So that's something there. Now, when you look at it, I'm all the way through the outline here. We're kind of planting those seeds. So that idea, don't focus on being a writer, focus on being an author, is a shift for people. The next thing we share is the only 3 things you need to get your ideas out in the marketplace. And you've heard me talk about that. You got to have a book. You got to have a title that the person reading it says, that's the book for me. And you got to have a way for them to get it. That's really the 3 most important things. Then how Dan Sullivan's 80% approach changed my view of what's possible. So when I mentioned that Dan shared with me this idea, which is kind of a corollary to the 80-20 principle, that in most cases, 80% is enough, right? That it's like it takes far less effort to get a 90-minute book out, which gets you 80%. And I'm being generous with the discounting the result to only 80%, because I really, truly believe that it gets you 95% of the value or 100% of the value if it's a lead generation tool. It makes no difference whether the book is 50 pages or 250 pages if you're using it as a lead generation tool to turn invisible prospects into visible prospects. So that being said, that 80% getting your first version of your book using this kind of format out is the most valuable thing that you can do. And you can, while you're working on this big book that you have this vision of, you can be generating money and clients and new business with version 1 of the book to fund the cost of doing a bigger book. Then explaining the 90-minute book works for lots of different businesses. That's another thought that we have to present to people. Then how a 90-minute book can help you get more clients and make more sales. That's another presentation of the thought that what people are actually going to be using this for. So you can imagine if you're talking about your situation, what is it that people are going to need to know to come to the conclusion that taking you up on whatever offer you make is the right thing. Then here's exactly how the 90-minute book system works. We explain the whole process, and then it ends with here's how to get your first book outlined, written, and published in just 90 minutes. It's a complete thought process. It goes all the way through, and it follows the exact format that we use to create all these other books. So I've got some other 90-minute book examples here. A great example is one with my friend and client Kevin Brady in Canada. He has a book called Return on Wellness, turning employee health into a competitive advantage and bottom line profits. And what they do is they offer employee benefits programs for large companies, and they show that the actual ROI on having a benefits program is not an expense, but it actually turns into a profit center because it saves them money on not having a benefits program. And they have less turnover, they have less absenteeism, they have less claims, they have all of these benefits that make them really more profitable by focusing on wellness. So when we look at the outline of there, we start with the premise, return on wellness, to explain what that means, then talk about today's reality. This is what's going on in the marketplace there. What impact do these issues have on a company? Do these health issues have on a company? So what does some of these injuries or illness or claims have on a company? Then why more companies don't already have a wellness program? Then wellness programs provide a return on investment in many different organizations. Then present the formula for a successful health and wellness program. Then how to turn employee health into a competitive advantage and bottom line profits. The next steps on implementing a successful health and wellness program. So always leading to the next step. You know, when you look at the next step for Kevin's book here is they have a wellness calculator so that companies can plug in some numbers for their employees, their number of claims that they had, and it calculates and shows what the bottom line savings for their organization could be. And so when they do this wellness calculator, the output for that is a customized wellness report that will outline what you could save based on average savings by implementing Advocate Health and Advocate Wellness at your organization. And then step 3, Advocate Health will work with you and your team to design and implement your personalized Advocate Health and Wellness program. So all the inside is just to answer the questions that people have, the mindsets that they might have preconceived about what it is that you do. But where you're coming from, you can kind of present a new idea. Now, the great thing about a book and the great thing about using an audio like that is that you have their attention in an uninterrupted kind of way, right? Like you're not having a conversation per se, but you're not veering off. You're presenting everything that you would love to present to somebody in a 1-hour, presentation. Imagine if they said, "Why don't you come and share everything with our management team?" Or why don't you come and speak to our group about this? What would you say in those things? I did a book with John Carlton, great copywriter. Excuse me one second. Let me take a little drink of water here. Okay, there we go. And so John and I wrote a book called There Are Only 3 or 4 Marketing Problems in the Entire Universe. identifying and solving the challenges that are holding you back. And when we look at this, that's the general premise that we have, that there are only 3 or 4 marketing problems in the entire universe. So people, they fall into one of these categories. Then on the back, our next step, here's what to do next. Step 1 is go to john-carlton.com. Step 2 is to buy everything for sale on that page. And step 3 is help others, tell your friends. And then we have Want to Write a Book just like this one. It's easy. Just go to 90minutebooks.com and we'll take it from there. But inside, we talk about our experience in doing hot seat workshops, where basically we both have a similar process in that what we're looking for are the meta problems that people are presenting. And John's identified them as, the 3 or 4 big things. And, they fall into the categories of, solution number 1 is Operation Money Suck, which is that they need money, so we've got to get that handled. Or solution number 2 is to sophisticate your bad self, meaning they've got money, they've got stuff, but it's logistics that are bringing them down. Or solution number 3 is some form of stop the pain. So we've got all these things. Then how to know which problem you really have, how to know when you're being successful, and then here's the magic words again. Here's what to do next. So if you imagine the outline, and we always do the outline on just one sheet of paper. We start at the top with here's what's inside, and then we start at the beginning, and we know that at the end of it is here's what to do next. Now we need to just kind of fill in the gaps there. What would people need to know? What would they want to know? What could we share with them? What are the thoughts that they would that would be helpful for them? What perspective-changing piece of information could we give them? What proof? What sort of documenting or case study or I call them content-testimonials could we give that demonstrate that what we're talking about is a valid position? And then how can we then just make that next step offer for people? So that's the formula that we use for outlining any book, really. And so I'm going to open it up for questions here and brainstorm. We can work through some of your situation here and see how we can really get that situated for you. And then we're at a very critical point in the year right now. We're the week before Thanksgiving. So, everything's going to kind of wind down for the next several weeks here as people start, getting geared up for the holidays. And there's a really great opportunity for you to use this time to get your book organized. I mean, I've got a whole team of people standing by right now waiting to help you get your book done, and so you can get your book finished before the end of the year and start out the beginning of next year with this tool already in your hands. So I think that's going to be a really good opportunity for you. So if you want to do that, I'm going to start right now with telling you what the next step is, which is to go ahead and send me an email. Send me an email, dean@deanjackson.com, or you can go to 90minutebooks.com and download a copy of the 90-minute book if you haven't already and start the process from there. But I really want to help you get your book out into the world here and start getting it to work for you to get you some new prospects. So *6 on your phone will bring you into the queue here. I'll see on my little dashboard here that you've raised your hand. and that you would like to come into the conversation, and I'll be able to open it up for you here. So here we go. Hi.
Hi, my name is Nitzan, and you very kindly helped me in a previous Q&A session and gave me the idea that the perfect people for me to approach would be business brokers, because I deal with business owners who want to sell their business.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember you. Yeah.
So I have a few titles for books that I would write. Can I go through them with you?
Of course, yeah.
So the name of my business is Exit Strong. And my slogan is, you got to finish strong to exit strong.
That's
and
great.
I'm focusing only on business owners who are who have not prepared their business for sale. They're not the people who know how to create a business that runs without them. They're the people who don't know, and they need me. So I'm pointing at the situation that a business owner goes to a broker and wants to sell his business, and the broker says, the way your business is, I can't sell it. And so one title could be Exit Strong, 30-minute demo, how to sell your business for twice what it's worth today. And the reason I use that is because if you hear the second title, you'll see why I try to do a more positive take. Another title could be The Secret to Selling a Lame Business, Proven Formula for the Business Owner. I don't know if a business owner wants to hear that he's a lame business.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's not a power word. Yeah.
Right. So another option in that direction would be sell your business for twice what it's worth today, and then the subtitle would be even if the broker says he can't sell it.
Right. There you go. Even if. That's good. When you're focused on the positive, that's better than how to sell a lame business. How to sell your business doesn't matter, for twice what it's worth. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
so if you said that, those words to somebody who's thinking about selling their business, you're making a pretty good claim. And then the next step, I heard you say something about a 30-minute demo, or something that could be the next step in this. But now, when you make a claim like that, that's going to at least get you the attention that will give you a chance to state your case.
Yes.
And to use that same format now, like if somebody's going to be ready for a 30-minute demo where you can show them how this might work, what do they need to know? Like, what's their situation? Who are you speaking to? What are the misconceptions that they have? And how can you demonstrate what you have is different? Then you make that offer of the 30-minute demo. It's great. It really can't punch any holes in that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the back cover, I would put the invitation to a 30, or at the end of the book, I would put an invitation to the 30-minute demo.
Both. We do it both. We put it in the inside end of the book and on the back cover. We don't want anybody to miss it. It's the most important thing, right? It's the title is the most important thing. The next steps are the second most important thing. And the interior of the book is the third most important thing.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm telling you, in a world where some people are saying, oh, don't be superficial, really, you judge a book by its cover. That's ultimately what we're...
That's to our advantage.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful.
I love it. So there we go. So you ready? Let's go ahead and let's get it started. Let's write it.
Yeah, you should know that I've referred a number of people to you. That
perfect.
I think your system is it's really good.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You really
You're very welcome. Hello.
Hi, Dean.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Who's this?
My name is Malika Paul.
Okay, Malika.
And I want to write a book about business mapping. So it's people that are just getting started and they might not know where to start. And I have a 7-step process. So I want to share my process with them. So my question is, like I don't have an outline. I don't know if the steps should be the chapters, or
well, it could be. I mean, you know, when you look at it, let's just look at the meta result here of what we're looking for, okay, or the macro result. If we look at take a level up, we want to use a book to connect your service, what you have for people, with the people who it can help. So if we start with the end in mind, what is the end result here? How are you going to work with people to teach your business mapping process? Do you have an online course? Do you do consulting? Do you have programs? How do you work with people?
Right now it's consulting, but I want to take it to the next level to do like online programs.
Okay. And so right now, even if you had the way that your book, if you could use a book to get more consulting clients, would that be a win for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you look at it is, you know, all we want to do now is identify who are the right people for you, right? Who are the people that you can get the best result for? How would you define them? You know, who's your ideal prospect?
Well, I tend to attract people that are still working a 9-to-5, and they want to start a business, or they started it but don't really know how to make it successful. So my whole thing is getting it out of their brain, you know, onto the paper, and focus on 7 key areas.
Okay.
So it seems to be more people that are still working a 9-to-5. So I believe that you can still do that.
And so this is for people who are looking to start a business. That's really what you're talking about, like a roadmap of this is how what you need to do to get things rolling. What are some of the steps in your 7 steps? Like, what are the highlights?
Creating a lasting product, creating a money plan that creates financial freedom for you and your family, having a system that sells directly to your audience, you know, growing your audience like your life depends on it. And
so
my book would be
well thought out. You've already you've got the content right now, right? So I think that when you look at it, have you had a chance to come up with a title that the person who you know you want to help would be attracted to? Like if they saw that title, they'd say, "That's what I want. That's for me."
I've been playing around with titles, and the message that I want to spread is to become your own boss lady, even if you are still working a 9-to-5.
I like it.
And then you do? Good job.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing, because that's what it is. And I love that you're talking about being a boss lady, that you know, you're like speaking that language, right? Like hashtag boss lady. And
exactly.
You know, that's really the thing is, you know, how to fire your boss slowly and be your own boss, you know, that's really the plan. That's going to speak to the right person, you know. Okay. That's going to get them to raise their hand. And in that, all you would need to share with them are that there is a roadmap, and that other people have gone on before them, and you highlight a couple of those stories, and then here's how to take the next step. They've already taken the first step by asking for the book, you know.
Oh, okay.
See, they've taken the first step because you've identified and you've turned an invisible prospect, all these ladies who are working in jobs right now, but secretly have this desire to start a business. They haven't told anybody. They haven't taken any action on that yet, but your book is going to come across their news feed, and it's going to resonate with them, and they're going to raise their hand to get it. And now you've got visible prospects. You've got somebody that you are in conversation with. And that is the most valuable thing. You may be the first person that they've ever shared their secret desire with, you know? Okay. And you get to be that leader that shows them the way and shows them the path, and, you know, highlights other people that have gone before them, and kind of build that whole community, you know? I think you're onto something. It's fantastic.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your help. I appreciate it.
Okay. You're very welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Hey, Dean, it's Noah Rosenfarb. We just spoke on your podcast recently.
Noah, what a great episode. I listened to it today.
Okay.
I listen to the episodes when they come out. Anybody listening, episode 70 of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast, we had a great conversation with Noah, and it was fantastic. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we got a lot of value out of it. Aaron and I both listened again and had a little powwow. And so I guess one of the follow-up questions that I had for you as it relates to today is we talked about writing a book, and the way that we planned to write the book was to interview our customers by doing this research project. They're CMOs of franchises that have 100 to 250 units, and basically just interview them for research around how they protect their brand, what the biggest stumbling blocks were in their growth, and how they plan to get to the next level. In any event, that's not a 90-minute book, and I think there'd be value in us creating a 90-minute book.
I do too. I think what would be really a great combination for you is a 90-minute book that presents your main philosophy, right? The thing that you're talking about. And that interview process would be a great podcast. I think your podcast or newsletter or, you know, those kind of things would be that kind of stuff would be the thing that would be your Profit Activator 3 activity, right? Your educate and motivate. That would be your flagship communication where you can continue that dialogue. But I think you need the I almost call it the manifesto of what this is about. You know, like I look at, I've got our Breakthrough DNA book, right? The 8 profit activators you can trigger in your business right now. That sets the stage to kind of give people the track that philosophically I'm running on. And then the More Cheese, Less Whiskers and I Love Marketing, all those podcasts are deepening and furthering that, that kind of explores the parameters of it,
So my title for that book is Customers on Demand, How to Build Your Lead Machine.
That's great. And if you look at that as setting the stage for you, showing how to do that, and then the next step for that is, if then follow on to that then is that you've got this podcast that every week you're able to continue dripping out, or every other week for people. But you just need to set up your philosophy and your approach to doing that,
Yeah. Okay. So my second question, my brother's on the phone, but he doesn't have great signal. He's a new realtor.
Okay.
And he got his hometown, Edison, New Jersey. He's the EdisonSuperAgent.com. And he wants to help people find the right home in Edison, New Jersey. So I've encouraged him to write a 90-minute book, to use your process. So,
sure.
I said nobody would know a title better than Dean Jackson, because he's got the thousand realtors that he's worked with.
Well, the great thing is that you can choose any target market. Like you can write a book on how to sell your Edison, New Jersey house for top dollar, or something that is going to be specific for the kinds of people that he's going to work with. But we need to tell your brother to go to gogoagent.com.
I told him
okay,
more than
good.
once.
Okay. Well, that's where everything is, I've got all of the tools. So we actually have a book called How to Sell Your House for Top Dollar Fast that we syndicate for members, right? So it can be his book, but he doesn't have to actually write it because I've already written it.
Great. Okay. And then what would you tell a new realtor about looking for home buyers versus looking for home sellers as it comes to target marketing and your title?
Well, he's going to love this because I've just recorded today the first 2 episodes of a new podcast I'm doing called Listing Agent Lifestyle. And so this whole idea of focusing on a listing-centric approach to real estate is really what the future is. That's the foundation of building a long-term successful business. It's got to be focused on the inventory, on listings, and using even buyers as a tool to get listings. So tune into that this weekend. I'm going to launch that podcast at listingagentlifestyle.com. So just get on in that world there, and then he'll be in the right place.
Terrific. Thanks, Dean.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Noah. Hello.
Dean Jackson, the man. Dean Jackson, the legend. How are you?
Wow, this sounds like someone I know.
It's Tim Paulson here.
I know, exactly. Do you think these examples, Tim, have been illustrative of?
You know what? That's a great word.
Great cookout. That is a great word. I
think that goes.
You're the one
that That goes back to I Love Marketing episode, I think number 52, I think it was. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Hey, Dean, I've got 2 real quick questions for you. So for a long time, I've been working on a book based on the concept of beautiful art, the art of Da Vinci and others that have hidden messages in them. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to a time where I was in a master's degree program. I got an assignment to study a painting. It was an art history class. And I was thrilled to discover that the artists actually left clues in their paintings that actually were instructive and illustrative, you might say. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so I create my own art. You may have seen a painting or two of mine at Joe Pauli's office. I have. Yeah. So I'll pause for effect. Okay, that was a good effect. But anyway.
Beautiful.
So I've got this title that I've been playing with, and I'd love to run it by you. So it's like this. The real-life Da Vinci Code. Life's greatest secrets of success are hidden in plain view in the art of Da Vinci, Van Gogh, and other masters.
I like it. I mean, it's exciting. Where do you? Okay. So I always look at it, and I never. You don't want to judge a title by the title alone without knowing the outcome. What's the intended outcome here? What right. Is this a book that is just that's it? That the book is that it's a completely self-contained thing, that it's people are experiencing it like a movie or a work of art, or they're going to read it and said, wow, that was great, or is it leading somewhere?
Yeah, so that leads me to the second question, which is really, so who is it for? You know, what's the purpose of the book, right? So
right.
It is a personal development type of a book, which I've always been interested in. You know, the book I wrote 10 years ago is Love and Grow Rich, How to Love Your Way to Life's Rich. And that was an effort, a work of love, trying to get a good message out there. But it wasn't really something that could monetize real well. I attempted. But anyway, with this, it's like a personal development book that is promoting my art. So, you know, I talk about these paintings, Da Vinci, Van Gogh, and others, you know, these really cool messages. Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, there's a great personal development message in this painting. And that's kind of how I skew all of the messages that I discover in these paintings. It's all personal development. But anyway, and then I add my own paintings. And it's like, this is what I learned. So I bought a $7 yard sale painting years ago. I transformed it into an abstract painting. I have it priced at $1 million. And I've been interviewed on TV about that and so forth. But the transformation of that painting from a $7 yard sale painting to $1 million painting is a really interesting story. It catches attention. And there were all sorts of success principles that I learned from my own painting. So to cut this short, a personal development book with the intent to promote my own art, if that makes sense.
Okay. And so did you think that there could be a series of these lessons that you could do as a podcast, a short podcast or a short video, like where you could do one a week or every 2 weeks that would highlight a personal development lesson within a different painting kind of thing? Like, could this be the entree into, a series of these?
Well, it's a good question. I actually, for a while, was doing a weekly, I called it Art with a Message. So we take a piece of art that I've done and then say, okay, here's the message. Here's what I discovered in creating this piece of art. Like I did the Beatles. You probably saw it, Dean. I mean, come to think of it. This stump, this tree stump, and I painted the Beatles around it. And there's all these cracks and there's these imperfections in the wood, and that bothered me at first. And then I realized, wait a second, the cracks, the blemishes, the imperfections actually make this an even more remarkable, one-of-a-kind piece of art. So I did these 4, 5, 6-minute Facebook Lives, Art with a Message. So I was really, that was a promotion of the idea of secrets that are hidden in plain view and art, and while promoting my own art at the same time.
That's great. So if you've got the ability to do that kind of thing, then those become the message that can carry your, what I call your super signature, right? So that you're sending that thing as content, and then whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways or 3 ways or 2 ways I can help you, and you've got your next steps there, right? Like what would people, how do you help people? Do you have do you have a course? Do you have a coaching program? Do you have 6-week programs or live events or masterminds, or what are all the different ways that you help people? Like, what's the end?
Well, so I've done all of the above before. Everything you've mentioned, I've done before. The courses, the live events, all that type of stuff. My main purpose with this is that I want to sell art. So that creates a little bit of it's made for, I think, an online coaching program, an online course, I should say, and coaching program, all of that. But that's not really what I want to do. I want to sell the art. So my question is those videos, the online, the Facebook Lives. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first, the book or the online?
Well, the audience, right? So you've got to. It depends where you're at. If you have an audience of people already that you can communicate to, then you can start with the with Profit Activator 3, with the education and motivation stuff, right? You're sending out that stuff to people. If you need to build an audience or to gather the right people, then the book comes first to get invisible prospects into your realm, right? So that you now have a list of people that you can communicate with.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit strange because it's like a self-development program that I want to use to sell high-priced art, and they're not the same audience, so it's a little bit bumpy. But but I think I'll be able to figure that out somehow.
Well, it's an interesting combination, right? I mean, it's like you've got an interesting approach. I would think, and you may want to, if you think about the end result, is what's is there a faster, more direct path to selling art than through this trying to filter it through the personal development filter,
Yeah. But that's all good.
Unless you can build a case, like if you look at Robert Cialdini's Persuasion book, that there's real evidence that just having visual cues shapes behavior and shapes the way that we do things, So if there's a way that you can almost position success art in a way, right, that that art can have messages in it that are doing things below the surface.
Yeah. Well, that's what kind of Hugh McLeod does, right, with Gaping Void.
It is. Well, he's overt about it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so thank you. So my real quick last question. So with your 90-minute books, I'm sure that there's it wouldn't be the base price, but to put some photographs, color photographs in there, that can be done easily enough, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dean. Yeah. You're the man, legend. You're a handsome. You're not a bad-looking guy, too.
Thank you, Bishop. Okay.
You bet.
Bye.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jackson.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing? My name's Chris Reyes. I'm down in not too far from you, actually, in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I actually had 2 questions regarding a book. One's actually a business-to-business concept, and another one's business-to-consumer. So the first one's really business-to-business, just so you get a little background. I actually run an ad network where we sell traffic, basically.
Okay.
And then we get affiliate marketers or other networks or entrepreneurs with the offer. So we're kind of like, I guess you would say, the Amazon of traffic. We're kind of the middleman. But I wasn't, I've been doing great just winging it and, pushing traffic, pushing offers, going to conferences, but we really have no system in play to, make invisible leads visible. It's either going to post in a group or Skype chat, but I'm having trouble with the kind of the title. I mean, we do focus on email traffic and mobile traffic, and I thought about return on email or, kind of how to use your computer as a competitive advantage, but just wanted to get your thoughts on internet marketing and affiliate marketing.
Yeah, who's your ideal client?
Really, it's an entrepreneur or business that has their own product. For instance, a diet product or an anti-aging skin cream. An advertiser is really the ideal customer.
Okay. And so if there's a way that, and you're proposing something that's different than AdWords or Facebook ads. You're promoting something different, but
email traffic. Really, we send emails at scale.
Perfect. So how
very
does that,
very broad based.
Okay, and how does that work compared to AdWords or compared to Facebook advertising? Which are the 2 things that people would mostly be aware of?
It converts better. The conversions are a lot higher straight to email, direct to consumer, than they would be if for search or for AdWords or even on Facebook. So I would say conversion's the number one advantage there.
And so when you look at it, somebody who's got a product or somebody who is advertising an offer that they're doing straight up conversions on, from they're sending AdWords right to the offer. They can do better with email than with AdWords or Facebook. That's your message.
Yeah, I guess I would. It's not really a message that I've put out there. It's just the advertisers kind of tell me this. They say, hey, email converts better for our offers than social traffic or native traffic. So I'm really getting the message from them. They're the ones that have been telling me. I've done some research. Email, we all love the email. So email works.
So if you've got a way to make, and ultimately you have a service that makes buying email traffic like buying AdWords or Facebook. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. There's a platform. They go in there. They load their unique link, if they have a tracking link or not. An unsub, the physical address, and then subjects, froms, and then the email creative right in there. They literally put their credit card right on the platform and load everything up. So it's exactly like Facebook ad buying or Google, but for email traffic.
And what lists are they mailing to, or how are you?
We've been mailing for 10 years, so we've gathered a lot of data. So it all depends on the vertical. Like, for instance, the diet products and skin products. The lists are usually AOL and Yahoo domains with older demographic. That's usually who's tending to buy. If you're looking for finance. We have finance lists. You have somebody that's 200,000 or 500,000 liquidity, and is looking for an investment. So it kind of depends on the vertical, but I would say the most profitable for us and our clients are diet, skin, blood pressure offers, focus offers. So a lot of older demo.
Yeah. Okay. And so, it sounds pretty fascinating. What are there minimum buys or?
We did have a set of like 2,000, but it's really $500, and I don't really look at it as the minimum. Like our model is really a CPC, cost per click. So it's really like clicks. Like, hey, let's load at least 1,000 clicks in this offer before we send out the blast, and then a real click. Somebody has to actually read the headline. Open the email, and then click the link inside. Like for the email that you sent yesterday, if they didn't click the phone number link, we don't count that as a click, So it's actual true CPC.
That's great. So I think, and do you have case studies? Do you have like examples? Russell Brunson for a long time had his, 108 split tests kind of thing, which is like a really cool thing when if you came at it from two different sides, right? Where you've learned. How many emails do you think you've sent over the last 10 years? You've sent
millions,
hundreds of millions,
millions
right?
of clicks this year. And that's the thing we used to do, just broadcast. But what we did is we created a platform and a system where a user can actually log on and kind of actually see their traffic at scale. So we don't have case studies, but I do the support and built the system, and I kind of do sales, and we've done as a company over $2.5 million in revenue, and it's year one. It hasn't even been a year, but we have no systems. Right. It's literally wild west right now.
Right. I got it.
Yeah.
So I think, man, if you could start that conversation with people who are thinking about, switching to or trying out email, I think that's really the thing. And I think playing on that, the lessons and the things that you've learned, is that, almost like it doesn't even have to be case studies per se, but it could be, real scenarios like what you've learned to show the comparisons,
Okay. All right.
Because if you got people started with that thing, that it's you started down that mindset, and you show people what's even possible. Like I didn't know that you could buy email sends like a like you could buy on a cost per click basis. That doesn't
pretty
that's
okay. That's coming
pretty
from
powerful,
you.
Right?
That's kind of crazy. All right.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So that's kind of that's kind of a cool thing.
All right. Okay. Well, that kind of puts it in perspective. So just kind of get the consumer or the client or the partner, however we want to call them, get them in that conversation on why email works and why you shouldn't buy native. Or if you're buying native, you should probably try
the
email.
Comparison.
It's cheaper.
Exactly. Like showing.
Okay.
That's what I mean about case studies, is showing people who like straight up comparisons of this is how it worked in native. This is how it works in email. To show, to kind of document as you're going there. But this is an interesting topic. This might be a good more cheese, less whiskers episode. To spend an hour.
Emailed you. Someone on your team to kind of discuss it, and it was really about like discussing Profit Activator 1 and then 3 because we don't have a blog, we don't have you know, we just started a Facebook. I just did LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're technically, I mean, we're not even a year old, but, you know, like next 2 weeks I'll be going to Thailand, Asia for like the biggest affiliate conference, and that's usually where I get my leads from, the face-to-face and belly-to-belly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well,
all right.
Let's I'll look at that. Can you forward that to me, what you sent, so I can so I'll make sure it jumps to the top and we can record an episode, because I think that would be a good thing to explore.
Okay. All right. And
so send.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send that out for sure. And I really appreciate, you know, all the knowledge that you feed to everybody.
Sure. Just send it to dean@deanjackson.com.
Okay. All right. Perfect, thanks, Dean. Man. All right. Thank you very much.
Bye. Hello. Hello. Okay. How about this?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, this is Mandy from Las Vegas.
Hey.
I got in about halfway into the call, and I wanted to know if you were going to have a replay up.
Yeah, I will.
We'll have the audio.
Yeah, we'll have the audio up for people. So because I talked about the first half hour was all about outlines and how to get that set up. I don't know when you jumped on, but what's your thought here? Where are you? Where's your thinking? Are you at the point where you've got a title for a book or an idea for a book, or where are you at?
I'm at a point where I'm in a network marketing business that kind of just crashed, and I have a team, and I'm looking to have someone else have everyone go into a different direction, but this time I wanted to be more on a brand philosophy instead of a company, because this is like the third time that I've gone through this, that I've built a big team around a company that kind of disintegrated. And so, but my team is really loyal, but I've always kind of, even though I'm on the calls each week, I've always kind of resisted wanting to be the face of the company, because I don't know, it doesn't feel like in alignment with what I want to do. Like I do a lot of local meetings or at my home, but I don't want to be all over the internet. I've done that, and I just it just feels disingenuous to me. And I don't know, sometimes I think it's something I need to get over, but I've been doing it for like 15 years, and I haven't been able to.
I think it's sending you a message, right? I think it's sending you a message that you want to get involved, or I think there's something to be said for being completely in alignment with your internal and your external,
Yeah, because like back when MySpace was like before Facebook, I did attempt to be out there. Like I did MySpace, I did YouTube, and I was kind of like be everywhere now, that type of methodology. I did it for like a year, and I just felt so dispersed. I didn't feel, I felt like I was just floundering, even though I was in contact with more people. I like having the more intimacy of, I call it proximity marketing, where I see people face to face. Maybe I just need that, but I just it's not just, I guess when I see people doing it successfully, I see that they're dealing with the masses, and you have to kind of accept this ideology of this like 70 to 90% of your people are going to fail no matter what. You just do what you're going to do. And I've kind of evolved to the place where I don't work with as many people, but the people that I do work with, they have a high level of commitment, and I have a high level of commitment to them.
Well, one option that may work for you with that, because you're doing it in proximity, is that maybe you could do a syndicated book, like the way, like what I was talking about with the realtors. So, if you were to write a book that is not, it has your name on it for your local people, like something you could give to people that you're in proximity to, but you did that as a tool that everybody on your team could now have a book that they could put their name on and their face on to give to people in their proximity, so that it's a tool that you've created for them to be able to disseminate a message that doesn't necessarily have to be just you. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I have a special report from Pain to Profits talking about like in your life and using the elements of it in order to attract the people that you want to work with into your opportunity, whatever it may be. But I just never thought of how I could do that. So when you say syndicate it out, I've heard you talk about you having marketing plans and you selling them to multiple local agencies so that it's for them.
Well, we do this. Yeah, so we have several people that we work with at 90 Minute Books that we create the book, the base book for, and then we customize the cover and the first page and the end pages to be for each person. So we do that with some like franchise operations or through some coaching programs where people are syndicating a marketing system kind of thing. So there's one master book, and then we coordinate all the logistics of customizing the book for any of your team members that you want to give that to. And often what people will do is we do that as we kind of white label that in a way where you offer this book to your team and we provide that for them. And you charge whatever you're going to charge to create that tool for them,
So many people want to do things online. So with your real estate, are they just like within a city or a zip code, or how do they do that?
The way we So we do it, that people are within a city,
So is that like licensing?
It is. It's similar. I mean, that's exactly what it is, that you would license your system or your book to one person in each city or one person in however you want to divide up the geography. Or some of them it doesn't, there's no need to even, some of them we do by zip codes or neighborhoods,
And they follow the exact, so for those agents, they would have to be somebody who basically doesn't have a system of their own. They see your system and they see that it's working and they want to adopt it. And
That's exactly right.
Oh.
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. So but I thought you were, so in addition to having your 90-minute book, this is an additional process. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this is one of the services of the 90-minute book. We have several people who will do a book for for a financial advisor, for instance, and then they will license that book to their financial advisor clients to use in their marketplace.
Okay, is that on your 90minute.book.com site?
90minutebooks.com. And so that, I don't know that there's information about that, but why don't you send me an email at dean@deanjackson.com, and I'll put you in touch with Betsy Vaughn, who's the person who runs that business for us.
Okay, can you say that email address again? My phone beat.
Sure, that's okay. Dean@deanjackson.com.
Okay, D@DeanJackson.
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, DEAN.
Oh, Dean@DeanJackson.
Yeah.
Okay, and just put in 90-minute book syndication program?
That's great. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Hello.
Hey, Dean. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
Great. This is Hank Hankinson. And,
Hank Hankinson. Wow.
Yes.
My long-lost buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty good. If I could just get out of my Colby way, I'd be doing fine. I'm a 7382, which means I drive really fast with my foot on the brake.
That's so funny.
But I actually just sent up to Susan today my outline for my book. But I had a couple of kind of go-go client questions.
Okay, yeah.
And then a kind of a call to action question for the back of the book.
Tell me.
Okay. Well, the name of the book is The Rest Easy Retirement.
That's a nice title.
10 Insider Secrets to a More Successful and Less Stressful Retirement.
I like that. Yes.
Okay. And what I'm basically doing is you kind of introduce the problem, have a couple of examples, define the Rest Easy Retirement, and then I have the 10 Insider Secrets. And one of the cookies is the Rest Easy Retirement Scorecard.
I like that.
Which is the 10 insider things, and it's not the 1 to 12 scorecard like Coach would do.
Yeah,
I just did it real simple. It's a yes, don't know, no, and they count you count your yeses up, and you're on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay?
Yes, love it.
So anyway, so the go-go client question is the thing I was planning to do with a call to action at the end of the book was have a 3-step call to action. Number one, the first step is for you to go download the book bonus materials because I have some things like graphics that I've used in the past when I've talked about some of these concepts. I'd rather have those as bonus materials than try to put them in the book.
Yes, perfect.
And then
because then you can be a bigger format for them.
Yes, it can be full color.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cheaper for me to send them a full color PDF than to have Amazon print full color.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And then step 2 would be download and complete your Rest Easy Retirement Scorecard. So the kind of go-go clients question I have was I would have a landing page for the book. I already have the domain. It's resteasyretirement.com.
Oh, that's a great domain name. Wow.
So that's where people go to download the book. But I guess I could have a separate, I was thinking about having 2 separate landing pages, one for the bonus material.
Yeah.
Like resteasyretirement.com/bonus.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
And then have another one for scorecard. That way I can track who goes and downloads what.
Yep, you're right.
Okay. And then the third part of the kind of the cookie at the end was if people wanted to go the next step was to schedule a 21 minute scorecard strategy session.
Yeah, nice.
But I didn't know if you thought that third one of that strategy session was too much to put on the back of the book.
No, well, part of, and it may be, and you can test with the, if you did if you do a webinar or a workshop or something like that, that might be the next, that might be a better next step on the back of the book. But the next step for every one of those next steps would be that 21-minute, the consultation. I might not even limit it to that 21 minutes. I just threw that. Well, I just threw that in there trying to make it sticky. Yeah. No, I got it. But that might be a nice like video presentation or webinar presentation or something like that, which then leads to the analysis, because when somebody fills out the scorecard, and by the way, I've got an integration for GoGo clients now with the scorecard system, so that like you see my Profit Activator Score.com, I had a developer build that to be able to integrate into GoGo clients. So I get all the every time somebody fills out. Because when I was finishing mine, I just have it as a PDF right now. I sent it to Susan so she could see it, but I actually went through and did that Profit Activator Scorecard yesterday. And I was polishing it up just to see if there was any language you were going to throw out there that I might borrow. But I really liked your integration, the way you're doing it, because you're, where do you feel you are? And you write 7, and then what would be, where's the ideal? Where would you like to be? Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's good. Yeah. Because that's the basis of the conversation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know about that, because then that definitely makes the scorecard a little easier. Yeah. Because the other thing I had thought of was I had seen someone else who had done a scorecard, and after you completed the scorecard, they had a follow-up, which was just a 2-page thing of what does your score mean. Mm-hmm. The way they had done it was, you're a do-it-yourself person. You need to call Schwab, or you'd be perfect fit for in-depth relationship. Yes, that's perfect. So that's what you need to steer the next step based on the results of the scorecard. Okay, well, then I may have to reevaluate my scorecard a little bit, but that's okay. I've got... But version 1 is fine for you to just get that out there and see what people do. Like a yes or no, we see where they're at no, then you know that they want to be yes. Well, I thought about using my little scorecard that I have, and then having the Rest Easy Right Fit scorecard, which would be more of a little different. But anyway, I'll tell you a short story, and then I'll let you go. But the best way to make sure you do your book is to have someone in your organization be presenting at an expo or some type of other meeting, and you put out a mock cover of your book and say, if you would like a copy of our book, please fill out this form. And so I have 39 names and no book yet, but I told them the book was scheduled to be published in December. That's great. Perfect. You're on your way. That's right. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Thanks. Nice to reconnect, Hank. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Hello.
Hello. Is this Dean?
Hi. Yes.
Hello. My name is Patrick. Jan, calling you from Colorado over here.
Nice.
Thank you for doing this for us. I was enjoying everything you said here, and realized that 80% of the title of the book is so important. I wanted to just I'm preparing kind of an outline to be able to send this to you. I think you need to do a lot of work before we do that 30-minute call. So I just wanted to touch base and see what you thought about this. So what I'm trying to sell, my ideal customer is a CEO, overworked executive that's on the fence about the benefits of taking a yearly vacation or retreat. So a really busy person. It's a 5-star luxury resort, so it's very expensive. It's not something that's cheap. So it is hard to get, I think, the right person to, raise their hand and say, I want to come to this thing. So I'm exploring the option of writing a book. And one of the titles of the book I have is, how taking a vacation will make you outperform in all areas of your life. That was what I thought of it. But then I just thought that probably wasn't going to be really catchy. The second idea I had was how to take a vacation, delegate, and prepare for a stress-free getaway. I just thought I'd ask you if you had any ideas on.
Well, I think you're kind of going on that right path. Now I'm putting all the pieces together because I was in Phoenix last week, and I think you sent me a video about your resort in Fiji. Are you the same guy?
Yeah, that's me. You're right.
That's you. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm just getting back and getting everything all settled here. But I saw that. And so, yeah, I think you're on to something there. But I think that it might be, when you kind of think through you're making kind of a claim, if you're basing it on experience of, return on vacations kind of thing, is that, is what is the outcome is, instead of going from the how to, get away and like push the pause button to get there, but then you got to kind of catch up, is almost pushing the accelerator pedal and having it go the other way, that it's actually a profitable thing to go on vacation. That's right, kind of what you're saying, right?
You're absolutely right. But as you can imagine, it is, having been an overworked executive and CEO, sold the medical business a while back, it is just really hard to convince people of doing that. I mean, and even the thought of writing a book and trying to distribute it, because we're relatively new. We've just been in operation for about 11 months now. Extremely successful as far as the operational aspect of it.
It looks beautiful.
We just actually won the 2017 World Boutique Hotel Awards for Australasia only after 11 months of operation. So we're doing a great job. The problem that we have is we first initiated going after these particular ideal customers through wholesalers and travel agents. What we started realizing is that the experience that we built in Fiji is an experience that it's all about. Fiji is an enabler. It's the destination, but it's not as important as the experience of what we're delivering. We have, a full staff, 10 highly trained employees with dedicated chefs, things gourmet food, 6 dining locations, private car, private chauffeur. So it's really made for that person who understands the benefit of taking a vacation, and as you very smartly said, that vacation will create potentially more value to them because they have, they'll rejuvenate their mojo and all that stuff. But will the kind of ideal customer I have even want to download this book? Because that person is like, more advanced really in many ways. He's a very successful person. So I'm not even sure if this is the right route for me, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that certainly you have to take that kind of stance in a way. You almost have to take that kind of contrarian thing. Like I use that return on as a way of like going all the way the other way on something with, it's almost like most of the prevailing thought about vacations and taking time off is that the most they can hope for is how to take it off without any guilt or without any like really bad, how things aren't going to fall apart kind of thing. It's almost like how to get away with it, really.
Right, exactly.
Right, how to get away with a vacation. But what I think the other end of that, going all the way with it, is that the vacation itself is how to turn that vacation into a competitive advantage and bottom line profits. I mean, that's really that's a message that somebody might listen to,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right. That I just wrote that down, how to turn your vacation into competitive advantage and bottom line profits. Obviously a stretch if you think about it, but you and I agree that does work for people who know how to take that time off.
And that's what you know how to do that. And that's what the middle of the book is about, is presenting your ideas around that. And that is the precursor to why you created this resort environment, to create that kind of not just any vacation, like, squeezing away for a long weekend in Aspen isn't the same thing.
No, exactly. Right. And that's exactly the scenario. The middle of the book is pretty, I've started to flush it out now a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's about, I spent my life working hard. I had accountants, lawyers, marketers, engineers, HR people, therapists and coaches for personal reasons, but no one really had ever built an experience where I could get away and completely rejuvenate my mojo. So I went out and did it myself.
Right.
But do you even think that email marketing is appropriate for the type of people that I'm looking to attract?
I think that email marketing is the most appropriate thing for attracting any people that you're trying to attract,
Yeah.
It's the one thing everybody checks their email.
No, you're right. Yeah, I agree with that. And I guess then is the next question is trying to figure out how to get how do you even fit, because you talk a lot in a lot of your podcasts about, if you've got 1,000 names, you've got a gold mine or whatever. If you're just starting out and have 7 people in your email list, it becomes more challenging, and I guess you can buy email lists, but and of course being patient.
You got to start attracting them and build them. Yeah.
And then so Facebook campaigns for that, or
yes, you could definitely. Even LinkedIn for the type of people you're trying to attract.
Yeah, I did look at LinkedIn as an option, because that definitely is appropriate to find the right people. So I thought about that. Okay. Well, I'll think about a couple more, but I think that's very helpful, how to turn your vacation into a competitive advantage and bottom line profits. That's a pretty strong statement that someone might say, I'll download that free ebook.
Yeah. And, when you look at it, that might be something that at really high level, like in Fortune 1,000 companies or whatever, that you might be able to make the case for people kind of including that in compensation packages, like that, allowing for and doing it to build that case that fully rejuvenated and rested executives are going to be more productive,
Yeah. No, it's more challenging here in America than it is in Europe. I'm originally from Europe, and there we have 30-day vacation every summer.
Exactly.
Here it takes a very special type of person to have gotten to the success to realize that taking that off.
No, I think you're on the right track, and I am looking forward to doing more cheese, less whiskers episode with you. So we'll connect and do that.
All right. Sounds good. Well, look forward to hearing from you then.
Awesome. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks. Bye, Dean. Thanks for your help.
Okay. Bye. Hello. Hello. Area code 407. That's like Orlando.
Hi.
Hi. Who's this?
Hi. This is Tina. I am just up the street from you. I'm in Deltona.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. But I have a struggle. I can't figure out where to go or what to do with it.
Okay.
Okay, in my cleaning service, and I know it needs to be a book, people clean their homes in a horrible way, and there's a better way to clean it where you can clean for health. And to outline the book, my first thought is to go talk to cancer patients for to teach them how to clean their homes. And then to use that as to put that on Facebook, but at the same time giveaway. But I have no clue how to outline the book. I think you went over part of it. I joined late.
Okay, well then you'll definitely get the replay. So we'll send you an email with a link to where you can listen, because part of the thing is what you want to do is, if you outline, I'm imagining that there are a handful or some number of things that you've identified that people are just, without even knowing it, potentially affecting their health. And that could be all the way from the air quality to the to mold, the dust, to chemicals, to all those kind of things, where it's almost like there's hidden killers in your house, kind of thing, And I think that would be a very fascinating book. If you could imagine yourself presenting to people who have either mystery illnesses or diagnosed illnesses that could be potentially, eased or helped with proper cleaning practices,
Right. And one of the niches that I wanted to do was to realtors for putting their homes on the market. And then give them a certificate saying that there were no harmful chemicals. And one of the things I thought was to be able to leave a book.
I think that's great. Now, do you have a cleaning service? Do you have education classes? Do you have products? What's your business?
I have a cleaning service, and I can make products available. I don't manufacture anything.
Right.
It would just be a lead toward that.
Yeah, you've sourced toward the right products. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think you're onto something there, that everybody would be, I think especially people who have, sensitivities to chemicals or to other things, that can be, they know the importance of that. I think that would be a very valuable resource for them. And a nice entry into your service,
Yeah, and I love hearing all the great things about having the after things. That one guy with the tree, that was really good.
Yeah.
Very useful.
So I think that's the thing. So if you can, provide a little cleaning kit for people with a little bundle of your best, the products that you like and use, or the, maybe an audit, maybe the first thing where you can come in and do, a toxic audit, to show where the potential problems might be, looking at the products they're using, looking in the trouble areas where you find issues, and then recommending a protocol or an ongoing cleaning service for them. I could see that all working out.
Thank you. I could not get it together to make it make sense. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure how.
Yeah.
Because I had actually thought about that, but
And I think your story and how you came about discovering these things, and then highlighting the most common things that are there and what you can do about them. I think that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be anymore. You're not creating a cleaning manual. You're creating awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just a guide.
That's it. Exactly.
And it doesn't, right. And it's not all my guide. It's just some of it is already available, but some of it is people don't know how.
Right.
They just,
right. You're absolutely right.
Oh, good. Good. I get all the self-doubt.
You got it. You got to. I think you've got something there.
I do too.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing. Hello.
Hello, Dean.
Hi.
This is Eric Baldwin from Toronto.
Hi. How are you, Eric?
Pretty good. Since the summer, I've been thinking about you almost every day.
Oh my, I like that.
Yeah. So we've done amazing. I used what we've learned and did a case study course for some students for 2 months.
I love it.
And then, one time a week we went online and we went into Q&A just like this, and everybody shared, and they're willing to open this to other people to learn from them. So that's quite something I learned from you.
Well, that's great.
Now I've also done an email that 9-word email, a good one from my old list, and it's doing pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, here's my question that's connected to today's call.
Okay.
We talked about Stop Your Anxiety, if you remember.
Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about a book with the name Stop Your Anxiety. Just simple as that, right? The Stop Your Divorce look-alike kind of thing that you've done before, right?
Yes.
So the thing is with Stop Your Anxiety, it's all good, except it does come across a little bit negative, so people are not as willing to admit sometimes. They kind of look away, and it may be good, it may not so good, because they want it, as you said, right?
Yeah, no, trust me, that's the right words, because the person who's really truly experienced it wants to stop it. That's the person you want to be in conversation with. You don't need to water it down. It's like our Stop Your Divorce, Right. That's the whole thing. It's like they're at that point where they will do anything to stop the anxiety, They're just at their wits' end. That's the person you want to be in conversation with.
So here's my question, though. That Facebook wouldn't really like that title, Stop Your Anxiety.
So which people are you talking about?
No, I'm saying Facebook advertising for ads.
Oh, I see. I got it.
There's a little bit, So I'm trying to find a way. I mean, I can still write the Stop Your Anxiety book for them in the back end to connect. But in the front, I have to soften it a little bit. So here was my idea. I went to a show here in Toronto, the convention center, like I do. So it was my 19th year at the show, believe it or not. And,
wow.
And I do a diagnosis there. I'm sensitive to energy, so I do a diagnosis for people. I usually see it.
Yeah, I remember you explained and showed me how it all worked out. Yeah.
Right. Now, the thing is that this time I tried something different, and I tried to use different headlines on the sign to attract people, aside from Stop Your Anxiety. I just wanted to experiment that. So I found that a lot of the people, I'll just read it to you what I used. I used, are you sensitive to other people's energy and want to explore your gift? Because I find that a lot of people who do have anxiety, they are the top of the top. They are very sensitive people. They're very kind people. They're very talented people. And if I could speak to that instead of their problem and show them how that sensitivity could actually be turned into a gift, so that which is, out there up until now could have been destroying them, we could help them turn it around. That could be a positive perspective. So my question to you is, any ideas, any suggestions of how I can use this? Because I used it in a 9-word email as well. I just sent it out just to test it to about 400 people. And, I just said, I'm doing, if you want, I'll read it to you. I'm doing 2 small groups trainings in November in Toronto for those who are sensitive to other people's energy and want to explore their gift and hidden potential. Would you like to join? Would you
like to join us? I love that. Yeah.
You like that, huh? And great response. Great response. Even you'll be laughing because it's even from the students that I already have taking other courses. They now want to take this one.
Yes. I love it. That's really good.
So I'm thinking it works very well. The response is excellent. So my question is, how would you see this as a headline of a book? I mean, as a title of a book.
Well, I think I think that you could go down that path of are you sensitive? Say those words again. Yeah.
Let me read it again. So here's my 9-word email at work. Hello, Dean. I'm doing 2 small group trainings in November in Toronto for those who are sensitive to other people's energy and want to explore their gift and hidden potential. Would you like to join?
Okay. Yeah. So I wonder if, there's something about, I like a title of how to know if you are,
gifted.
What would be the right word for what you're doing? If you're saying how to know if you're a gifted empath or whatever,
Yeah, but I think it could be misunderstood, and some people did, that I'm trying to, because I have the gift and they've seen me use it before, they're thinking that maybe I'm looking for people like me.
Yeah.
But so that was a little bit misunderstood. What I'm looking for is for people who are easily affected by other people's energies. They always complain, everybody's so negative, I can't be around them, and so forth. And to show them how that sensitivity that they have is an actual gift that if we explore it, they could now use it as a power, not as a challenge. So it's not about figuring out if they're just as gifted as me. It's about knowing for sure that if you have sensitivity, you have a hidden potential that you don't know about, and now we can turn whatever is bothering you to an advantage. And I can help you do that.
Yeah. So I would create a word palette around that sort of thing. We talked about that idea of the word palette. I'm just thinking about energy advantage or energy, what would be all the positive words in there with that, how to turn your sensitivity for other people's energy into an advantage or into, but it needs a couple of anchor words
I think I know where you're going, but my question initially was, do you think, because we were so strong on Stop Your Anxiety before,
which
really
I think
explored.
I think that I still look around other opportunities other than Facebook to do to get in front of people. Like, I mean, I would even use public notice flyers, for that kind of thing. Like, if you just had, flyers everywhere with "Stop Your Anxiety" and the cover of the book and the website to get it, you would get leads. Like, you can't swing you can't. What's to say you can't swing a cat and go outside? When we calculated the numbers of people that are affected by anxiety, in the city, being in that density there, just people coming in proximity to those words is going to, is going to generate some response there. The other thing that if you're going to take that stuff is, rather than using those words, "Stop Your Anxiety," on the actual ad, is to create articles or stories about people who had this but overcame it, and offer that on the landing page, the book, a book for people to download.
Right.
Create content that are stories and strategies and things that have worked. So you're creating that environment there.
This was the idea behind the case study that I just ran for 2 months with a group where I literally interviewed them every week of their progress, and their stories are just amazing. There's over 10 people in that group, and so
that's awesome.
My second question, if I may, quickly. Okay. I'm doing a diagnosis of the show, right? So I'm actually sitting literally with every person. They fill out the form, and I do it. Now, I was always thinking of how to replicate the success that I have at shows in online. Now, the self-assessment guides that you have, right, are very similar way. Right, are very similar way, except there's a difference here. On one, I show them how great, quote unquote, I am, right? By being able to diagnose them without knowing them. And here they're self-assessing. And I have a feeling that self-assessment may be more powerful than me showing off of how great I am.
Yes, it may be. You can, that would be worth exploring, is thinking what would be the elements if you were going to direct somebody to self-assess. What would be the line of questioning that you would take,
Because, between me and you, I mean, you listening to me for 5 minutes, you can tell me already exactly where I am and where I'm going if I don't take your advice.
Right.
But you still want me to say it.
That's right.
You want me to self-assess, otherwise it's not going to work. If you tell me what
That's right.
so you know,
that's right.
I'm going to take your advice.
That's right. It just takes a different way of thinking about it. That's really what you have the opportunity to do, is think about how would you frame it if it's questioning, a Socratic kind of method in a way,
Right. So my challenge really was in the next step. I have probably easy time to get the names of the people because of the topic that we're talking about, and because I really know a lot about it, so the words I use and the way I approach it are acceptable. So my challenge is for them to go to the next level and actually try what I'm offering them, because until they try it, I kind of fall into the category of just like everyone else, and they get overwhelmed by all that information already. So for me to help them and inspire them to actually try it, to see that it actually works, I have to somehow impress them beyond of what they usually are impressed.
Right, and that's something that you can do over a period of time with educating and motivating, right? Like, and the whole thing is knowing what step you're at with people.
Yeah, and this is what I was going to say, that I think it would be much easier that over the next 6 months, it's almost guaranteed that they will try it. But how do I inspire them to do it once they opt in? I think it's impossible. I mean, impossible is a strong word, but
yeah, it's all experimenting. You know, you got to test your hypothesis.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so just to conclude, the positive perspective of shifting and the mindset of a person who has anxiety from kind of having to deal with his or her anxiety to recognizing that their anxiety is an actual gift that they can now explore and no longer have to suffer, but the opposite. There is something in it, right?
That's it. That's it. I think it's just about, like I said, starting this conversation. And I think that, then you've got the time then to educate and demonstrate. And then always having the next steps,
One final question, Tim. Up until now, for so many years, I used the words karma secrets as in intrigue, create curiosity. So, in a sense, I always had an advantage because they came out of curiosity more so out of truly me conveying the message clearly. Yeah. Now they come a little bit differently.
That's good because they've got a specific thing.
Yeah, solution based, I guess, or
that's
problem
exactly right. Yeah,
as opposed to curiosity based. So my question is, which one works better today?
Well, I think that you can do both, but I think that it's easy when you know that they're looking for a solution and you've got it. That's a clear connection.
It's more targeted, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Eric.
Okay, I appreciate
you.
So
good
Thank
to
you,
reconnect.
Yeah, the same. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye. Hello.
Hi, Dean. This is Rick Goldman in Atlanta. How are you?
Hello, Rick in Atlanta. What's going on?
Well, I'm just really happy to talk to you. I've been a fan for a long time and tried a bunch of your stuff. And I have a question. It's more about using a 9-word email as a cold email to a very specific small group of people as a way of, starting a conversation and then letting them know about the book.
Yes.
The 2 areas I'm working in that I'm pretty much just starting, but I've done some of this before. One is helping artists and creative people blast through their blocks and toward their dreams. That's one. The other one, which is an idea that I know there's a problem for, and I used to be a teacher, is how to stop homework fights and end homework battles. Which from a little bit of research I've seen, like 30% of families are fighting all the time. And so I just put up a video on YouTube for the Stop Homework Fights thing, and it's showing up, in the top spots.
Would that work for stopping bedtime fights too? Or
I don't know.
I'm fights?
Would mean between kids and parents?
Yeah.
It might, because there's like a stick. I figured out there's like 8. I call them dance moves that get you into the homework fight starting dance, and then there's 6 steps that get you out of it.
Yes.
Some which you have to do at school, and some which happen once you get home, because it's kind of how you do stuff at school sets up the problem.
I gotcha. Okay.
And what I've noticed is, because I used to talk to lots of kids about why they wouldn't do their homework or why they wouldn't ask teachers for help, and what they told me was none of the adults, including me, we were all in the wrong boat on that. But a lot of stuff happens that the parents aren't aware of and the kids aren't even aware of, and then the parents try to help, but everything blows up because nobody understands what the problem is. So the book I put together explains that, and then has actual templates you can use to work through it.
Love it.
The problem I've had is when I've tried to contact schools, they seem to have like almost like a Star Wars deflector shield up against people coming from the outside.
Sure,
especially these days, because everybody's so scared about everything. But I got your More Cheese, Less Whiskers email today about the email.
Yeah.
And it gave me an idea of how to maybe put together a 9-word email. So I came up with a couple of ideas, because I thought if I can get to counselors, it's not so much for teachers. I've had terrible luck with PTAs answering, but my experience working in a school is counselors really care about stuff like this, and I think they might actually know. I've got to get to parents who are having the problem, and I got to get to the people who know who the parents are who have the problem.
Yeah.
So I came up with a couple of 90-word emails that would be cold, and I thought maybe I could run them past you and see what you think.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So there's 4 of them. There's like 2 of them for each idea. So one is, do parents ever complain to you about having too many homework fights? And the other one that goes like that, do parents or kids ever complain to you about having too many homework fights? And the other one is, do parents ever ask you how to stop homework fights? And the other one would be, do parents or kids ever ask you how to stop homework fights?
So something about those all sound like they are setups in a way, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get away from.
Right. Yeah.
I was trying to not be suspicious, you know.
Right. Yeah. But they kind of sound like that, unfortunately, you know? And so I think that even if you ask them, you know, do you have any advice for stopping homework battles? You know, I mean, those are the kind of, that might be the thing where, you know, if you were seeing if maybe they have some or that they don't. But more importantly, what's the end of this? Where does it go? What do you do that you're offering people? Like what?
Well, it's a coaching program.
Okay. For who?
For the parents and the kids together, because they have to learn how.
I think that there's enough ways to find the parents without having to go to the counselors. I mean, they're all over Facebook. You can target, you know, parents with kids at home. I mean, that's pretty easy in your geographic area with certain interest likes of, you know, if there's any particular, you know, educational type of indicators that people might like something, and starting that whole thing of how to, because it's a good message, how to stop the homework battles, you know. That's something that would get its own interest. That's all you have to say to the right people, because they either have homework battles, 90% of people, or they don't. Yeah, I don't think you need to even, I think it's getting it overcomplicated, you know.
Okay. So just have some way just to get in front of the people that are already have the problem.
Right. I think Facebook is a good start, you know, good place to start with that.
So that would be like Facebook ads kind of thing?
Yes, exactly.
Because you can target, like you can get exactly the kind of people that you're looking for.
That's exactly right. Yep.
And does that have to be a lot of money to do that, or is there a way to do that? Just start
you
it out.
Test for $20. You know, $20 a day. It's not much at all. You pick whatever you want to spend.
Okay, it's kind of like AdWords.
Yes, exactly. Except it's on Facebook. You show up in somebody's news feed.
Okay. So you're showing up in people who are already interested in this idea, kind of thing.
Well, you're showing up in front of people who are parents who have kids in, elementary school or middle school or whatever. That's really who your audience is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's middle school is huge, and I found the problem in high school. So.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And that's who it's kind of geared for, is this more of that. But I also see now that it's working with kids in elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's a great idea. Okay.
I think if you've got a solution to the problem, you've got a ready audience,
Okay. Well, I have one, that's for sure.
For sure.
It's based on, having taught for 30 years and taught all kinds of tricky stuff that people were afraid of or didn't want to deal with. And, like writing and theater and speech, where it's very emotional and they don't want to do it. And it's kind of have to separate the emotional from the practical here.
Love it.
Okay. Well, thanks for your encouragement and the idea. You've helped me so much.
Thanks for sharing. You got a really great idea, so I'm happy to help.
Thanks, Dean. Have a great night.
You too. Hi.
Hey, Dean, this is Mike. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
Oh, it's a good day.
You're the last question of the evening, so better be a good one.
The best, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and I missed the first 35 minutes of the call, so I'll go back and listen to that. But I'm trying to reach the local business owner that, offers products or services to the consumer, either on a repeat basis, mainly on a repeat basis, the florist, the bike shop, the restaurant, local business owner. I have a new service. It's a Facebook management service. So it's helping them get more engagement on their Facebook page. You find a lot of businesses that try hard, but they're not getting engagement. They're not getting more fans. They're promoting, a sale or whatever. They're just not getting any interaction. And so my service reaches that idea. And, one of the things I offer is a free service, like a Facebook page makeover and a free week of engagement. So basically we do it all for them. So I was looking at this book idea, and one of the, I don't know if I've got the right method or the right way of getting to these businesses to get them to raise their hand, but my title that I have so far is 3 Ways to Get More Revenue from Your Existing Customers Without Spending More on Advertising.
I like that.
And so, the end result of what I want to do is ultimately offer them an audit of their Facebook page and then a free makeover and a free week of engagement. And I'm trying to figure out, am I going about this the right way? How do I get these businesses to raise their hand?
Yeah. I think that there's got to be a, what's the promise here?
The promise is we're going to show you how to, ultimately, we're going to show you how to do your Facebook page. And obviously we provide a service, but we'll set you up and get you started. And then if you want to continue on your own, you can. But we have this great service that we can do for you.
Oh, okay. So I think that sounds like so we just need something that would be the precursor to that, right? Right. I think that having that book of the 3 ways is going to get people to raise their hand. Or if you've got the book, so I can get that's an indicator that I want this. Now you've got somebody who is pre-framed for the solution that you offer.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's all. I mean, I don't think you need to bring that you don't need to bring that up to the front. You bring it up to the front by having the promise, the outcome, the benefit be the star that gets people, compels them to raise their hand, and then you engage in a dialogue with the people who ask for the book to find the 5-star prospects and make the offer for them. You don't have to do it all at once. It's a 3-act play, and you don't need to reveal what happens in Act 3 to sell the ticket, you know?
Right. And so I didn't know if I was going about it the right way. I mean, the 3 ways that I was looking at as far as the book was concerned was, one, was to have a VIP club or a birthday club, or depending on the kind of business that they are, they can do an in-house thing that doesn't cost them any money. The second way would be to offer an upgrade or a free sample, kind of like McDonald's offers you. Do you want fries with that? With your Big Mac or whatever.
Yep.
And that doesn't cost you anything, but that's where the profit is. And I haven't got the third way. I don't know if I should get into the Facebook engagement side of it, or have that as
well. You could even talk about a 9-word email as an example. I mean, that's a magic trick that somebody could do.
Right, and so that brings up my next question: is should I be doing a Facebook campaign, an ad campaign to attract these businesses? Would I be better off doing a 9-word email to businesses? I've tried to attract businesses through Facebook messaging, and it doesn't really. I'm not getting the right response.
Right. No, I think the Facebook
it may be my message.
I think the Facebook ads and offers would be the right way initially, because you got to get the right people. If you don't already have that audience, you just need to get people to raise their hand.
Right.
Yeah.
But so the book topic that I'm offering, you think would be a good?
I think it would be if you work on the title, just tighten it up a little bit. The message is there, the offer is there. It's just, I would do a little word palette and brainstorming on, and when I send out the link to this call, I'll send the link to the title call as well, because there was some great exercises for how to pick a great title too. But I think the essence of it is there.
And the length of the book isn't so critical.
It doesn't matter. It's not at all relevant. Right.
Once they raise their hand, that's what I'm.
That's it. That's it.
That sounds great.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, here we go. 2 hours and 19 minutes of book outlining goodness. And we have wrapped up a successful book outlining call. I think we had a lot of great ideas come out of this. I think we got I'd love to read a lot of the books that we're talking about here. So enjoy. Now's the time if you want to get your book finished before the end of the year. I got a whole team of people standing by to help you. Just go to 90minutebooks.com and we can take it from there. We can start you out, or you can send me an email, dean@deanjackson.com, and just say, I want to write a book. And I'll make sure that we get in touch with you and get you started and finished as fast as we can. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, and I